Hey, just a few show notes to start things off. We have a little audio issue around the 1 hour mark. It gets a bit fuzzy. I've tried to clean it up a little bit for you, but it still distorts over the voices. We apologize for that. There's a little bit of that in the next episode as well, but we have cleaned it up for future episodes and solved the problem. So sorry about that, but this is a great show, and please enjoy. You're not going to be disappointed. Welcome to the Invasion Remake podcast, and that was Disturbed with Animal. Now this week, that song is very apropos, because we are talking Beastmaster. And the Beastmaster that is with me today, Jeff McNair.
Hey everybody.
And Trish Coughlin.
Hey guys.
And who did you bring with you today? There's somebody sitting in my favorite chair.
I've brought awesome local comedian, Tony Binns.
Thank you very much.
Yay!
Somebody's been sitting in his chair. And it broke because it's leaning to one side.
Yeah, it is a well-loved, well-used, and anybody who wants to get me a new easy chair, I'm all for it. If there's any sponsors out there.
Yeah.
Lazy Boy, we're looking at you.
Lazy Boy, I already have a Lazy Boy couch. It's awesome, so I just need a matching chair. Actually, I don't want a matching chair because my couch is really fucking ugly. But
it's classy.
It is a really good couch. It's the best movie watching couch ever.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. The nicest stuff in this room right now is just all the equipment.
Hey, I've got some pretty cool shit in this room. What are you talking about? Not that our audience can see it.
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking all things Beastmaster today, and we are going to remake that movie as well. And there's a lot to fix and update on this movie, but it was a classic, like for me anyway. I don't know if calling it a classic is doing it justice. You guys might remember it from the early days of HBO when they played it every 3 hours to the point where their call letters were, "Hey, Beastmaster's on." So I'm sure everybody out there has seen it once or twice, and then of course it spawned 2 sequels that nobody saw, and a television series that nobody saw.
Oh, I made it 10 minutes in the first episode, and I was like, well, we're done.
I think I remember about 5 minutes or so that I peeked in on it, and it was during that whole Hercules Xena craze, and everybody was trying a different version of that, Zorro, and
it was awful.
Conan, I think, had one. And
Ironically, strangely enough, though, a character like Beastmaster does seem like something who would have ongoing adventures. So a TV show is supposed to work.
Yeah, they just didn't know what they were doing with it. It was really bad.
Yeah.
It was worse than the movie.
Yeah.
I love the movie, but
But there's stuff we can do.
Yeah. So this movie came out in 1982, directed by Don Coscarelli.
Famous for Phantasm.
And it was, co-written with Paul Pepperman. And actually, I didn't even know this at the time when I looked this up, but it's actually based on a novel by Andre Norton.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, look at you. Did you read the book?
Yeah, no.
There's only so much prep.
I'd like to know why everybody only has 4 letters or less in their name in this movie.
It's a sword and sandals thing. Yeah. They're all like that.
So they can remember it.
They're all one-syllable names.
That's why Conan becomes king. He has 5.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He has 5, and they're like, oh, obviously a superior being.
I
2 syllables and 5.
Master.
Yeah, it's in the pasta.
Okay, so it was written, and Don Coscarelli didn't get final cut on this thing. This movie did get taken away from him. You guys can go listen to a rival podcast, but we love them anyway, The Movie Crypt, and they did an interview with Don Coscarelli, and they do talk a little bit about Beastmaster. And it's a movie he's learned to love after a while, but there was, I guess, hurt feelings at the time, but, it's been 30 years now.
When someone takes
get
your
over
baby,
it. Yeah, and I could certainly understand the personal nature of taking something like that, especially when he wrote the damn thing, the script on this. Like, he's pretty attached to this thing.
Yeah.
But either way, was a big part of my childhood, and I know it was Jeff's as well.
Mine as well, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, probably one of the first movies I got to see boobies in. So
Well, that's very important, actually. I was about 15 when I saw it. I was at the Sunset Twin Drive-In, and I was deeply into Dungeons and Dragons at the time, and boobs. So anything with swords and boobs was A-okay with me.
I'd say fantasy played a big part of my merging into my teen era, because that was very important. I loved all that action and sword and sandal stuff, but you also got to see a lot of skin.
That's a mainstay too, especially in these lower budget sword and sandals movies.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we'll do like really poorly choreographed fighting for 2 minutes, and then someone will get their shirt ripped off. And actually, that just reminded me of a scene in the movie where the character Kiri, like, they put them all in the ceremonial robes to sacrifice them, and then what do they do before they sacrifice her? They tear them off.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because for some reason, we'll get her
And
all
she's got her
dressed up
slave
and then
garb
just
underneath.
rip her stuff
Like, she
off.
ditched that shit somewhere in a catacomb, and she's wearing it under the garb. So they dug it out for her.
It doesn't
They're like,
matter
no.
what she's wearing. Her clothes get
No.
torn every
It
single
gets
time.
torn.
Well, even the raid on the village. You remember they're all riding through there, and suddenly it's like, oops, my shirt opened. Like, no one was even attacking her at
Yeah,
that
she's
point.
just running.
The
Yeah.
shirt just
Yeah.
flew open for no particular reason.
And even though she has a nice rack, she's got a nice set of legs too. They give her a lot of leg on that.
A lot of legs.
But you know what? They give everybody a lot of leg. Like, it's not just the women.
Yeah,
Like, to be fair,
Marc Singer's got some nice legs, too.
Marc
Let's
Singer's
not-
got, like, a lot
He's
of
a
leg.
big
There's a lot of
dude.
skin.
He's a big dude.
And like, John Amos?
John Amos, yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
a lot of side butt. Like,
A lot.
it goes way high. Like, it's not, if you talk about, like, the boobies and the skin in this movie, definitely not just the women.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
skin.
male.
But even
almost
the
nudity.
witches. Like, as you're panning around the witches, you get, like, them swaying with half their ass hanging out, and you're like, oh, that's not so bad. And then suddenly it's all
Oatmeal face.
Twilight Zone.
Fun
Yeah.
fact about the witches, and I call them the butterface witches,
Yeah.
because they're all just horribly disfigured faces, but they got hot bodies. One of them was Janet Jones,
You're
Wayne
kidding me.
Gretzky's
Yeah, Wayne
wife.
Gretzky's wife was one of the witches.
I
Witch
had no
number
idea.
3, I might add.
Yes, witch number
Which
three.
number 3? Was she the very last one that turns into a dove for some reason?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they numbered them because of the
We don't
order
know what
of
the
their
numbering
deaths,
system
or-
is for
no.
witches.
No. Someone
So-
needs to call Dawn. Let's get this sorted out.
So yeah, she was Butterface Witch number 3.
Yeah, but like the costumes. The thing is, like, it's a lot of skin. There's no rhyme, no reason to the costumes because, like you say, the witches, like, their butts hanging out. But basically, it's like if I take a scarf and I put a hole in it, put my head in it, and have both sides hanging on either side of me, like in the front and the back. That is their outfit.
Pretty much, yeah. And a flesh-colored top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because for some reason that's important.
Yeah.
Your butt.
They only had like a 6 boob limit on the budget, right? So, and they
Yeah.
used that up right in the beginning. So you didn't really get any more. It was like implied boob after that.
Yeah.
Lots of Marc Singer boob, though.
Oh yeah, heavily on Marc
Does
Singer.
not wear a shirt.
Now,
that whole movie.
anybody wants to figure out how big Marc Singer actually is, because there's a lot of fairly
Well,
buff and tall people in
I
this
IMDb'd
thing.
it.
But watch Arrow just this past season, and Mark is in there as, I don't remember his role. He was
He's
some
like a colonel or
sergeant or
something.
colonel or whatever. And Stephen Amell is a pretty cut, and you figure he's a pretty decent size. He looks like a freaking midget next to Marc Singer. So
Marc Singer's like 6'2",
yeah,
Wow.
which by Hollywood standards is a giant.
That's a giant, yeah.
So he's a big dude, and he's definitely cut in this thing.
Okay, I have
yeah.
a question.
Yeah,
Is he related to Laurie Singer?
Yeah, that's his
I
sister.
think so. Yeah.
Laurie
Yeah.
Singer is his sister.
I
And
thought
I think
so.
he's got 3 other brothers, 2 of whom are actors, 1 who is not an actor.
That was a smart one.
But yeah, definitely Laurie Singer is
That
his
is
sister.
that is
I- I
a
was
business you
thinking
got to
about
be
that.
kind of crazy in.
Which
so.
actually ties into my,
Laurie Singer. I'm just trying to remember.
Footloose, wasn't it?
Well, there was a television series that Fox was always, after X-Files ended, they were trying all sorts of different genre things, and she led a series that name escapes me right now. It didn't even make a full seasons. I think they got about 10 episodes out, and I really dug it. But Fox is so quick to
Oh yeah, they'll
axe
ditch
things.
anything that doesn't
Yeah.
come out big. It's
Yeah.
just the way they go.
so no sponsorship from Fox.
But yeah, no, Marc Singer is related to Laurie Singer.
We'll be cut
Fun
after
fact.
6 episodes.
Okay, well we're starting
So,
to get deep into this. Should I run the trailer for this, and then we'll get back to that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's set it.
Is it 5 minutes like Dawn of the Dead was?
No.
Well, they always seem really long. It's about 2 minutes and 11 seconds, but this one, he never shuts up,
Perfect.
which is awesome for an audio podcast.
Thank God.
But this movie, it's actually got more dialogue than this whole
Probably the
movie
whole
together. So, and some misinformation, but we'll talk about that afterwards.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Is it 5 minutes like Dawn of the Dead was?
No.
Sweet.
It was foretold by witches. It was conceived through sorcery. And it was to be destroyed by all that is evil. But the courage of one mortal saved it. And so, into an age of darkness, in a time of mysticism, sacrifice, and plunder, there came the only light, the Beastmaster. Born with the strength of a black tiger, the courage of an eagle, the power that made him more than any hero. More than any lover. He was lord and master over all beasts. He was the Beastmaster. Behold the wonder, the horror, the fantasy, the challenge of the one warrior they called the Beastmaster. Marc Singer is Dar. Tanya Roberts is Carrie. Rip Torn is Mayak. John Amos is Seth. Together they take us on a fascinating journey back into unexplored times. Conquer your fears. Face the unknown. And discover the incredible link between man, animal, and all that is phantasmagorical. In the world of Dungeons, Dragons, and Dar. The Beastmaster. The epic adventure of a new kind of hero.
I like how they said all things phantasmagorical, because that's definitely a nod to Don Coscarelli. But they also say in the age of Dungeons and Dragons, there are no fucking dragons.
Yeah.
I feel a little cheated watching that one. I wanted a goddamn dragon after watching that, but there's no fucking dragons.
Yeah, that's
well, after
kinda
watching
funny.
some of the crazy shit, a dragon would not go. It wouldn't raise an eyebrow, really.
Yeah.
Could he talk to it? Hard to say.
Ooh, yeah. Is it one of the beasts of which he is a master?
That he can only do when his head is not shrouded.
I don't know if it even came up in the sequels, but...
No, in the sequel they time travel and there's.
I remember that one, but I don't even remember the third one.
The third one.
I
Yeah,
don't know
this
if I've
list
seen
has
it.
got not, like there's portals and crap.
A dragon would totally upstage a spray-painted tiger, though.
True.
Yes, there's an urban myth about that tiger that it died because of the dye on his fur, but I think it's just an urban myth from the stuff I've read. But then again, we've read some conflicting stuff on that.
Tons of conflicting stuff. No idea. All we know is for sure that cat died 2 years after this film, and that's all we know.
Yeah. So I don't know. Dye gave it cat cancer or something, but
Possible.
or
Or maybe
it was
the
just
cat
an
was
old
just ashamed
tiger.
by its performance.
Hey, it did a pretty good job. Of the animal actors, aside from Kodo and Poto, the ferrets, who
Yeah.
are the real stars of the show.
This
Oh, I
is
love
pre-CG,
Kodo and
so
Kodo.
they're using all real animals, and most of them are pretty effective. But early in the film, there's a bear who's a horrible actor.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a guy in a bear costume for a second.
Me too.
Nope.
No, it's an
And
actual
what
bear.
happens is okay, now bear attacks. What you shouldn't get from this movie is bear attacks do not look like shark attacks, but in the forest.
Yeah.
Which is
That way
what
when he
they
gets
made this
sucked
look
into
like.
the tree.
He gets sucked into the
That's right.
trees and kind of thrashed around, very much like what you see in Jaws.
Yeah.
And then he comes up out on his two legs. There's sound effect of it roaring, but he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just staring at the camera with his paws up, and Dar
And-
does his thing and chases it away. And
Well, no, I
and then
think he
it
just
walks
tells it to go
back,
away.
still on his
Hind legs.
hind
yeah.
legs, and it's like, do I get my fish now or whatever?
Whatever bears eat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lackluster.
Jesus.
For like a bloodthirsty bear, he's really lackadaisical about the whole thing.
Yeah, he's like, I just had human, I'm good.
I know. Like, I don't know. Is like the bear attack really? Is there another way you could probably, show Dar's ability to control animals? Does it have to be a bear attack?
I think it does.
Okay, then maybe a good bear attack.
And then I don't know how his adopted father decided that he had animal telepathy. All of a sudden, he's like, "You've got a special gift. No one must know." Well, he warded off the bear, but
Okay. we should explain what happened there a little bit. The priest of King Zed's kingdom, which he's almost fired immediately at the beginning of the
Mayax.
film. Mayax is a
that's
nut
played by Rip
job.
Torn.
And his 3 butterface witches have prophesied.
Prophecy.
Sure. Well, we'll pick one of those. and apparently, this kid, the king's son specifically, is going to be his downfall. So,
what do? You tell the king you want to kill his
sacrifice.
son.
Yeah, to his face.
Yeah.
He takes it very
As you
well.
do.
Yeah, he takes it pretty well.
He's just like, you're
At least
banished.
he's honest.
Yeah, you're banished? Come on,
Well,
stop being a...
Well, the king had heard he wanted to sacrifice, who was sacrificing children, which...
That's that character's
cool.
dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants your children sacrificed. There's no reason why.
I'm sorry, why
No.
would you have this dude in your kingdom in the first place?
I know, I don't understand. And the king is largely ineffective. Like, it's sort of, I don't know, we've come to this idea that he's this great king, but he's not good at his job.
No.
Like, this guy, Mayax, has got, like, he's got enough followers. He also doesn't get rid of him when he threatens to kill the heir to the kingdom.
Yeah.
In the womb.
He doesn't kill any of his minions, who are also doing a lot of his shit.
Oh, the suicide monks.
Suicide monks, they killed themselves right away for no reason.
Well, no, I'm
reason.
talking witches.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
witches.
He should have taken those out. Like, honestly?
Yeah. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a killing.
Yeah.
That's a killing
Yeah.
for you. And the other weird thing is it's Rip Torn, right? And I find it
Yes.
hard
does
in
not belong in this
retrospect.
film.
He does not. I
No.
keep thinking like Larry Sanders, like, bad news, Larry, we're going to have to kill your child. Like, it's very strange. Ratings are down, nothing we can do. Have a good show. Like,
Yeah, and then
that
they've added a
nose.
hawk nose on
That's
it.
The
right, the
hawk
prosthetic
nose,
nose.
yeah.
was it a prosthetic nose?
It seems like it is.
It has
stands
to be.
out
That's
so
not a
much.
real nose. I've never seen that nose on a human person.
No.
It's because they had $8 million. They had a little bit left over. They're like, hey, let's give Rip Torn.
Well, they went to the nose because it sure didn't go into the background of this thing for having a lot of animals. This is a very sparse territory. This is a sparse movie in general.
Yeah.
But we're jumping around. We'll do that.
Well, we're not going to recap
No.
because we decided we weren't going to do that.
Recapping is
Yeah.
bad. We're going to do
But-
the movie Beastmaster.
Yeah, so he, as part of his heroic journey, he gathers his animals. I don't know where these. Yeah, hilariously. I don't know where they're living because I think there's 3 trees in this whole movie.
Yeah, one of them you don't want to fuck with.
Yeah, one of them you
Yeah.
definitely don't want to fuck with.
But we've missed one important point, actually, before this. With the prophecy, they have the baby. They've marked the baby. They have to mark the baby, apparently, before you sacrifice it.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is important.
Now,
So the baby is taken.
Why didn't they just kill the queen instead of magically transferring the pregnancy to a cow, taking it out later to
Literally
sacrifice?
outside the gate. Like,
Yeah.
they're just like, we're going to walk this for
The only
2
thing I could
minutes.
come up with is to smuggle it outside.
But, I assume being birthed from a cow was what gave him his animal
Well, it was
connections.
it was a C-section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird that they're
And this is-
totally paralyzed by getting what looks like a pearl necklace from a blue meanie.
That
Completely.
That scene is
Yeah.
always stuck. I'll do my saw for the first time. So I rented this movie in would have been about 92 from Saz Video, as I've mentioned before. Saz Video. Every time we talk about a movie that's this old, that's where it's coming from. And I always remember that blue liquid scene sitting in the little well of their throat, and it just it's always stuck with me. And originally, like when I was 12 or whatever, it really kind of creeped me out.
Yeah.
Like it's a very effective scene of whatever the hell that stuff does. Makes them mute and possibly paralyzed, and probably gives them throat cancer in years to come.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why the king's eyes exploded.
If
later.
any of our listeners know what happened to that actor, please let us
We
know.
don't know.
Yeah, did they
And
die?
The other part of it too is like going. That wasn't the part that bothered me the most. Is like they put green spooge on their throats the entire time I've watched that. Even like as a kid, I'm like going, okay, somebody's in your room. Like, how can you not notice that? Like, somebody's lifting up your
With an
clothing
animal.
on you.
Yeah, she
they've
snuck a
come in with
cow
a
in.
cow. I grew up on a farm. You're not going to cow in anywhere without it being nice
They
and
are
quiet.
heavy sleepers in this kingdom.
Very
Yeah,
heavy.
like honestly, seriously, like you could do anything to these people. Why the king and queen have not been killed before this is beyond me.
Yeah, haven't they seen frat movies? You put the tiniest bit of shaving cream on someone's nose, they're going to swat at you. And these guys don't even move, and they get like 2 ounces of blue goop glue poured down their neck.
Yeah, but anyway, the witch gets out with the cow, and then they're in the middle of nowhere, and then you find where the next part of Dar's story is, where rather than getting sacrificed, he is saved by his adoptive father.
Yeah, and that sequence really bothered me when they go to the Stilt village. That's one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the raid on that village, just because it's really like interesting visually to see them like weaving between the stilts.
Yes,
and
by the June Horde.
There's no reason to be on stilts because they're in the middle of a wasteland for some reason. But when he brings the child there and he just like raises it in the air, and they're all really excited to see him back. So it's like it was his mission, I think, to go and steal a child, and they just gloss over that.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that out either. Like, was he supposed to do that, or did it just happen to happen? Because I don't know.
Yeah, they're all like, "Yay, you brought it back!"
Yay!
Yeah, but there's no reason to believe that at all.
Unless they were already aware of the prophecy, but
they aren't.
Even Mayak's only found out like.
Wait, if they were aware of the prophecy, then that might be why, like, he tells Dar not to tell anybody.
Yeah,
about
maybe.
his power.
And he also tells him that his future lies back at that city, and so he's all so he knows a lot more than is led on, and he says about 6 words in the whole movie.
So maybe there's a cut where he knows about the prophecy, and that's what this whole thing is about.
There feels like a lot missing out of this movie.
And like for an old farmer, that was a pretty fucking sweet bladed boomerang he had.
Okay, was this pre or post crawl? It's pre-crawl.
It's pre-crawl.
But that was an awesome glaive type thing.
Yeah. Crawl was more like a starfish with claws.
That was cool too. I have this cool place that I have stuff hung up on the walls and stuff, and I would like the cool glaive bladed boomerang thing from Beastmaster, and I want the Crawl one on my wall as well.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet.
They're
it's
so
cool. It's a
cool.
cool weapon. I love when they have nonsense weapons in movies like this.
Yeah,
it's like in that terrible.
I don't know how they catch these things without chopping off their fingers, but
they never catch it though.
Well,
Remember
it's
when it comes back?
Yeah, well,
but
get the hell out of the way.
It just hits that dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, so if that guy like dodged, would it like smoke Dar in the face, and the movie would be over at the 40-minute mark?
Wondering if the point is like it's supposed to embed itself in something, and then you get it back.
It seems like that's what it is, except that one scene where it came back.
It only seems to go in like an inch in the back, like choo, like it's barely a cut, and these people drop like flies.
Well, that's also something with this movie, right? Like you're wearing like 3 layers of armor, and someone like wide swings a sword, and the tip hits you, and you're fucking dead. Like everybody's very brittle in this in these movies. Like their skin's thin like rice paper.
But you only I don't know, but like really financially, you only have so much you can do.
Have so much. There's like barely any blood in this movie too.
Oh yeah,
the amount of swordplay. Like I ripped
There's
horn.
More green goo.
You can have tits in this movie, but there's like no real gore in this movie at all.
No. Which also is typical of movies like this.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Deathstalker, which is one of my absolute favorite horrible sword and sorcery movies, the villain gets drawn and quartered, and there's barely any gore.
See, and that's a point when you need that blood and gore.
Yeah, it was effective when I saw that movie at 10 or 11 years old. It was like, holy shit, that guy just got.
Although there are several aspects of it too where you don't need the blood and gore, like a fiery sacrifice.
Yeah, not necessary.
Gore.
Was it PG when it came out, or was it R? Do we know?
It's got boobs. It depends on what.
That could be PG though in the 80s.
I'll check.
Yeah,
true.
I think it's weird that if it was an R-rated movie, that an R-rated movie from the 80s has less blood than a video game today.
Way less.
Yeah, well, that was
less
the
boobs.
thing.
You ever played God of War? It's tits everywhere.
Yeah, it's not. But that was, I don't know, that simpler time, I guess.
Yeah, simpler time.
Simpler time when we were young children watching movies where it was like people had swords, but there was no real blood. But yeah, so
at least there's no rubber swords in this movie. I've seen it, especially with Deathstalker. Like people would hit with sword and it would like bend with their body.
Yeah.
This one, at least everything. I don't know for what this movie had going for it. I thought that it was shot really well. Like the scenes were really nicely shot. Like I say, especially with the raid on the village, like it's just a really cool shot scene and lots of sunrises and sunsets.
And the scenes with the hawk where you're following, you've got like those shots
the bird's eye view.
The bird's eye view.
Yeah, all the helicopter shots.
Quite good. Yeah, I know, but those work.
They work. Yeah.
Okay, this came out before the PG-13 rating, so it was actually a PG film.
Yeah, I figured it would be because I was renting it at 12 years old, so. It wouldn't have been R-rated.
But to be fair, when we talk about this, we're talking about like it's got no blood, less gore, and just some boobs in it.
6.
That seems fine to me. I'm sorry, it seems fine to me to show boobs rather than a whole shit ton of gore
I think back then because I remember a few other movies I
'Cause I don't
saw
think
that
that's
were
so-
PG that had boobs in it, and you're either allowed 2 nasty swear
Yeah.
words, the really bad ones, which we say often on this show.
Yeah.
or
We're PG.
or one nice rack.
Because
so.
unnecessary gore to me, I find much more offensive than boobs.
I remember being very shocked going to see Dragon Slayer and seeing a pair of boobs there because that was a Disney movie, wasn't it?
It was
know.
distributed by their subsidiary, the Buena Vista.
Oh, Touchstone.
Oh, Buena Vista Pictures?
I could be wrong. I don't know. Somebody just email us or Twitter us or Facebook us the actual answer to that question.
It's not like we come up with a lot of facts on this show.
Yeah.
No, not at
Don't
all.
fact check us. For the love of God.
Yeah, but anyway, like when Star grows up, his adoptive father told him, never tell anybody about this, but you know that this is the mark, we'll take you back there. But he grows up, then the Horde comes.
Yeah.
June Horde.
June Horde.
Or the
comes.
John Horde.
John.
The John Horde, which
Yeah.
Dar is alerted by his dog, his faithful dog.
And they-
His faithful dog.
Okay, I had when I saw the June Horde, I had 2 things in mind when I saw it.
Road
and
Warrior?
One, Road Warrior is one of them, and the other was Action Smash from Demolition, an old '80s wrestling team that probably dates me horribly. None of you people even know it. You do though.
I know.
Tony knows.
What a rush.
But I did Mad Max. That was what the other one.
So they're a bunch of fetish bikers on horses that. I honestly don't know why they're destroying the town. It's just what they do.
It really is what they do.
show up randomly, and it's not like they're trying to acquire anything.
Well, Buddy, Rip Torn was with them.
Yeah, Mayax was there at the first siege because they realized he's
He
still
had to
looking for that kid.
He had to show off
prophesized
his
kid.
braids.
Yeah,
That's
he
the
got
only
braids
reason.
since the first time we saw Mayax.
That's how you.
FYI, here's
That's how you show aging in this.
Yeah, and that's another
And black teeth.
big breakdown. Like, the king is just stupid. This guy should have been cut down as soon as he threatened his son. This should have been a short movie.
He was going to banish him before, but as soon as he gets threatened to his face, I'm like, you're done.
Seems weird, too, that whole town is built around that temple, which is a shrine to whatever whack job, child-hungry god Rip Torn is the leader of.
I get the
There's no
feeling.
palace.
I get the feeling Zed was stuck with this guy. Like,
Yeah, but how stuck can you be? Because we were discussing too, like, who's running these June hordes? Because Mayox is with them at the beginning, right?
Yeah. Oh, and I got
But there's
I
no
got a beef
indication
to
as
pick with that.
There's no indication as to why they're with him or why he's the one in.
You know the
control.
Ghost Army in Lord of the Rings is like that.
Because now I'm going to jump to the end here a little bit when they get to that city and they've dealt with Mayax and all that stuff.
Even though they state
The June
outright, you can't go and kill everyone in the temple because the June Horde will come, and I've seen what they can do. And then the next scene, after that glycerin tear sequence where everyone's crying for no reason, they go and do the exact thing they said they weren't going to do.
Yeah.
And then they went, oh shit, the Horde's coming.
So there's something magical about the Horde that attracts them, and because I was kind
Yeah.
of why are they coming here to attack the town that they're from, and they cover up this tar moat with sand so they don't know it. But if they were from this town, they probably would remember that the moat
They
was
had
there in the
been
first
there.
place.
They never said they're from the town, though. They say they always go north. They covered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if
They probably
okay,
started
This
there.
is my first note for remaking it. Let's establish at least something with these guys that helps explain shit about them.
Oh, everybody needs
Everybody
that.
needs that, yeah.
Every single character in this movie needs that.
But primarily, if we're going to figure out anything, like at the beginning, we got to figure out something. Something's got to happen
Yeah.
where we figure out why the hell this is happening.
I think we need a montage.
Another montage.
I think we need to open with a montage and then jump right in.
They do have the one montage
It's the
just to
training
show
montage.
him growing up in training, yeah.
And running around with a giant stick for no. He has the sword,
Yeah.
but he's training with this half a log.
You know what?
Maybe it's heavier.
Hey, you can probably fix it by taking out the child sacrifice element of it and have us like give me your children, but they're taken to be soldiers rather than just sacrificed randomly.
Yeah, there should be some motivation for that cult as
Oh,
to,
for
like
sure.
Because
establish
if
the
you
religion.
kill the
For sure.
children of all your followers, you have no more followers.
Yeah.
You are killing off your entire following. It doesn't make sense.
And it's super trivial as far as remaking this movie, but I believe that the cultists should have lines once in a while.
Oh, I think
Because
everybody should have more lines.
No cultist ever in that movie says a real word.
Yeah.
Ever.
No,
they grunt and they howl and they're like animals.
Yeah.
And we established that the like arm flailing Death Knight, whatever the hell. Like they have
The
goo.
berserkers.
The berserkers. They have goo poured into their head, and that's why they just grunt. But like the cultists seem relatively normal.
Here's
Yeah,
the strange
they're
thing.
called Death Guards.
The berserkers are the only characters with an explanation and motivation.
Yeah, totally. And that little kid tells it to us.
Yeah.
Like disposed prince.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, this is what's up, by the way.
They're
Yeah.
being lobotomized and drugged and...
That
Yeah.
might be a budget thing. You got to pay the actor twice the amount of money if they have a line. If they don't,
Well, okay, yeah, let's
True.
look at this. This budget in 1982 was $8 million. So a fair chunk of change even in 1982. By today's standards, that's still pretty modest because by today's money,
Yeah.
that's about $20 million.
But you can easily explain the June horde by just having Mayax explain the taking away of the children for the hordes.
Yeah.
That's taken care of with the main character.
I mean, they couldn't even afford trees in this thing.
They had one tree, and it was fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the bear shark attack.
Oh, no, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
The Kodo and Podo, when
Poto and Poto.
that tree
Oh,
just
true.
above the
The old
quicksand,
tree.
which I love that quicksand is in this movie. It's probably the last movie
Quicksand
to
was
use
in.
quicksand because let's
I
face
no,
it.
loved it.
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
Oh, but quicksand.
Inconceivable.
I'm going to tell you people right now, quicksand is not dangerous,
I'm telling
I
you
know.
it is. I
But
fell
when
in
I was
some
a
last
child,
year.
I was so terrified
and
of
it's
it.
terrifying. And thrashing about, where the hell are you people finding quicksand?
I don't know. I saw it on Fantasy
I was
Island, and I saw it in
I'd
this
seen-
movie, and I was terrified
it
of it
was
my
in
entire
every
life.
Tarzan movie I saw as a kid, and I was terrified that, and I'd never come across.
This is a thing
quicksand,
that happens in
ever.
real. Last year, we went dinosaur bone hunting in the Badlands of Alberta. To listeners, who don't
Generally,
live in
you're going to
Calgary.
be able to stand on
Which
the
you
bottom.
could
No,
It's
this
part
is
of
the
this
thing,
movie
though.
in FYI.
We're walking along, and 5 people go ahead of us, and I'm talking to my friend, and then she's not beside me anymore, and I thought that she was, like she fell. So I turn around, and she fell all right. She was waist down in the ground. The ground had broken open, and it was like quicksand, basically, like some kind of
Right.
sinkhole. And she pulled herself out. And then I was like, okay, we need to get off this because then the ground's all moving. This is a true story. And we go across and I jump up and I fall in and catch myself on the edge of something and pull
Yeah.
myself out. It was terrifying.
Well,
Quicksand is something that can happen an hour and a half from this building.
I looked
True
up the
story.
science of quicksand, the density of quicksand.
Yeah.
If you just kind of did your whole hold the breath, float on top of water kind of thing, you'd be fine.
Terrifying.
Yeah, but there is
But
that
in the
because they're
moment, there's a
terrifying.
lot of stuff.
And it's the panic and thrashing that kills people that it starts dragging you down. So
Never Ending
Also-
Story also had quicksand.
what's that?
Never Ending Story also
Oh,
had
yeah.
quicksand.
Yeah, Artax falls in.
Artax.
Right.
Artax
How
was
many
his
movies
hope.
have you watched with quicksand?
A lot.
Quicksand.
Well, it's for his quicksand podcast.
Yeah.
coming
Sinking
coming
fast
later
with Tony
this year.
Vince.
It's just an hour and a half from me going, help, help, help,
Does anybody have a ferret?
please.
I need 2 ferrets. And you know, the ferret sequence is really bizarre. This movie has, this is something that I want to maintain in
They're
a
like
remake.
beavers.
yes.
These ferrets.
But there's an element of, kind of lightheartedness throughout
They're
this
the
movie.
comedic relief all the time.
For sure
those
they are.
two guys.
Fantastic.
But I think that the selection of their names and that whole sequence is Dar's one moment of dealing with loss. Because his family or his adoptive father and his whole village has just been razed to the ground and everybody's been impaled for some reason or burnt. And then these 2 ferrets steal his loincloth for no good reason. He chases them down for 5 minutes. Then he goes, I'll name you Kodo. Don't worry, you'll get a name too. Podo. Kodo and Podo, my friends. And he just stares at them. And it's I think he's Kodo and Podo were probably his friends in the village. And he's gone crazy with loss. And that's why they exist. Anyway, I don't know if I'm reading too much into that, but I feel like that's his coping
I think
mechanism.
he's been remaking this in his mind for quite some time.
I think
time.
so too. Yeah.
That was just today. I was watching it, and I thought, this is maybe his way. Because then when he doesn't name the eagle at all,
No.
No.
he speaks eagle fluently,
He
which is
speaks
awesome.
Eagle. It doesn't name the eagle.
Which is so funny every time it happens. And he what does he name the tiger? Roar.
I can't even do it because I can't do the
Roo, roo. I always thought it was
like a
roo.
really guttural yeah.
Yeah. Brutal.
blew out everybody's
Yeah.
ears
So anyway,
trying to do
dealing with
that.
loss, accompanied by ferrets.
But that's part of a hero's journey in all of them is to have the loss glossed over. It's like
By
Uncle Owen
something.
and Aunt Beru was yeah, I was really close with them. Anyhow,
Yeah,
off we
exactly.
go.
Moving on.
Anyhow, well, let's do a montage where I'm training.
Yeah.
There are two specific moments. Well, the good chunk of this movie, and he gathers two different groups: his animal group and then the humans that accompany him and drag him into this whole thing. Because he's going back to that kingdom for revenge for the Jun Horde destroying his town and his surrogate father and all that stuff. So. Was it the tiger first, or was it... No, it was Kodo and Podo first.
Kodo first.
And then the tiger
then
right next.
Like, right away. So, like, it was probably stalking the ferrets. And it got there, and it was like, fuck this guy.
Well, keep in mind, I bet you you're right.
The ferrets. He
No,
was attacked by the
I would
wolves.
say
he was chained up.
I would say he might be right if the tiger wasn't chained up, because you can see for miles around. Like that. When I say there are no trees, this is a barren movie. Like the towns are sparse.
Film it there.
The lands are sparse. And that's
everything's pretty sparse.
Everything's really sparse.
There was like never really a
these
source
are
of
like
water.
The animals he gathers are probably the only animals here, and they probably were imported from other lands.
It seems like they were.
Yeah, the only other animals are horses that people are riding.
It seems like only dumb humans
and that
would
one
live
cow
here.
that they kill.
Plot is sparse, clothing is sparse.
It's all very
sparse.
sparse. It's a sparse movie, guys. Sparse movie. Sparse with
Oh,
dialogue.
actually, I guess the eagle came first.
Yeah.
Yeah, the eagle was
That
the first thing to
almost
show
right
up
away.
after his...
Yeah.
But
Then
that's
Kodo
also
and
what he
Podo,
discovers.
then Ru.
He can see through, like, the eagle.
Yeah, he gets a bonk in the head.
They get
and he has
animal
magic powers.
Yeah,
That's right.
he has an animal POV.
Yeah,
in
he
his
totally
head.
does.
But it's
Yeah,
weird,
which is
like,
kind of neat.
he had a dog, like, when his town is taken over, he has a dog, and the dog actually saves his life. But, I mean, his relationship with the dog is no different than your average dog-human relationship, really.
I really like that dog.
I know,
He was
the
a
dog
hell
was
of an actor.
amazing. It was a beautiful, beautiful
You could
dog.
tell that dog was... They didn't... When they had shown the dog dead.
Oh, yeah.
And he's lifting him.
He's limp.
and-
I was worried that he was dead.
I was too.
I thought it was like one of those crazy Italian
I thought-
filmmakers who's like, yeah, no, just kill the dog and we'll do it that way.
Because it doesn't twitch or nothing. Did they
No.
drug it or
I
what?
feel like they drugged it. It was
I think
pretty
so.
out.
Because then when when he lays him down, you can kind of see it
There's a
breathing. I'm like,
slight-
oh God,
yeah.
oh thank God, the dog is breathing.
Oh God, I thought like, oh my God, they killed the dog.
And I love this scene where, because like clearly the dog can't pull him, and that's what the scene is the dog pulls him out of harm's way for who knows how long
This
to the tree line.
6'2", and
Yeah.
I'm guessing probably 250,
It
275.
needed to be a larger, more wolf-like dog to
Yeah.
make that make sense.
So he's pulling him, and like clearly Marc Singer's like on some kind of pad, and they're pushing his feet, right? So there's one moment where the dog like misses the shirt, and he kind of moves up a little bit, and then the dog catches on and continues. So yeah, force of will alone,
Yeah.
he moves him
That was
because
pretty impressive.
budgetary constraints and
You know,
edits.
and we keep calling this a sword and sandals movie, but nobody actually had any sandals. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, they had boots, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, Marc Singer had footwear.
Tanya Roberts later on.
Tanya Roberts is the only one who doesn't have footwear like 90% of this movie.
Yeah.
Everybody else has footwear.
Once she gets to the city, she gets some footwear.
Women don't get footwear in this movie.
She didn't
The
get that
witches
much
don't have
clothes.
footwear.
She's
either.
lucky she got a shirt, all right?
Yeah,
You
which
ever
brings
seen-
us
Not in her
You ever
first
seen-
scene.
which
Yeah.
FYI brings us to the swimming scene. The
Oh.
booby scene.
We're slaves. We're just having a casual
the
lesbian
booby scene
swim.
and we're having a casual lesbian swim. Now I'm sorry. Okay,
And
what
they're
they've got is they got the
slaves, but where's the slave guy? Like,
I know.
They just were running around and like, well, if you guys are
Yeah.
slaves, shouldn't there be
well,
somebody
to be fair,
watching the
she does
slaves?
say if she doesn't go back, her parents are killed. So they've kind of got
right.
that
Yeah.
over her head. But yeah, like the swimming scene. I'm sorry if I'm swimming. I don't think it's like my boobs are going to be holding me back if I don't have them like I don't know, put down in some way. They're going to get more in the way when they're unfettered. Like this is not going to help me swim better.
I would probably help in that quicksand pit.
Yeah,
They might.
maybe. Buoyancy is important.
Buoyancy is important.
And then one of my absolute favorite scenes is where he uses his animal powers not to swear revenge, but to pick up chicks.
yeah, in the rapey meat cute.
Okay, yeah, yes.
Super rapey meat cute.
Yeah.
So he sends that tiger out to mock threaten the
girl.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he like,
Kiri.
Well,
he like
no, he has the
slides up
ferrets.
beside her all creepy.
Yeah,
like,
he has the
so
ferret
funny.
steal her stuff first,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
to
what you
lure
get
her
from
out.
every 1980s camp movie, where it's not young boys, it's just ferrets
Just
stealing
ferrets.
their stuff.
Yeah, they passed Chevy Chase along the way.
Yeah, Past Tribulations Along the Way, or anybody from like Wet Hot American Summer. And then...
Now on Netflix.
Now on Netflix, yes.
Netflix sponsorship.
But anyway, yeah, they go back there, and then as she's running after her stuff, then the tiger comes to threaten her. And then he sidles up to quote-unquote save her.
He's like, well, you could thank me, and just plants a big-ass kiss on her, and...
forces it on her. And then he gives like the...
And then he pins her to the goddamn ground.
Yeah.
After he winks at the tiger, though, he's like, I got this now. Carry on. It's pretty awesome. That's the least rapey scene in one of those movies I've ever seen.
It was
like typically they're full of rape.
He was pretty close to like, why don't you just club her?
I know, right?
Like a Flintstones episode, club her and drag her home.
And it kind of like the tiger was sort of like cock blocking him at some point. I think no, go further with the tiger cock blocking him. Maybe have the tiger going, dude, settle down. This is rapey.
Yeah, can we dial this back?
It gets more disturbing.
Oh, it does.
Oh yeah.
But maybe that's the part of the remake. Just have the tiger be like, dude, just
Tiger
settle it.
talks.
And Tiger's like, come on, guy, I'm not on board with this.
Yeah, no, and he's definitely stalking Carrie.
Totally. That's a secondary focus in the movie at this point. Is he's like, oh yeah, I've got to go swear revenge or whatever, but I gotta
and
save
get
her.
laid.
Oh yeah, no, I have to go after this woman right now. Revenge can wait.
Revenge will always be there.
That's why when he gets to town, he puts on his extra sexy armor.
Yeah.
It's like super low riding, and he's
Oh my god, yeah.
all oiled up and stuff.
Do you need a moment over
Yeah.
there?
Sorry. Okay, when you're talking about when you first saw this is like one of the things. Like I was a young kid. Like I don't know. I had a crush on Marc Singer. Didn't know what it was. Still very young to really know what was going on. I'm like I Beastmaster, yay! I will watch this movie again.
Well,
In slow
I don't know about
Part
Jeff,
of it was
but
I wanted to be a Beastmaster and I wanted to talk to animals. But
I
part of
probably
it, I'm
had the
like,
crush
ooh,
on
Marc Singer.
Tanya Roberts too. Between that and the Bond movie she was in, I think
Yeah.
those are the only movies I did see with
Like
her.
before
so.
I understood it was a crush. That was definitely he was one of my first crushes for sure.
Yeah. He has two powers. One is talking to animals.
It's
The other-
Dr. Dolittle meets Conan. If you're
It
actually trying
totally
to,
is.
Oh, yeah,
it
my God,
totally
yes.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it's liberally steals from Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. So
With the
combine
quests.
that with Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Sort
true.
of, yeah.
Yeah.
Too true. So yeah, then he goes on his secondary quest. He's got to find Kira.
Got a Mac
Kiri.
on her.
Yeah.
Got a Mac on her.
Yeah, so let's talk about Kiri.
Yeah. FYI, he's getting all rapey, but then when he finds out she's beaten, that's when he's like, "Oh no, I can't rape you now."
Somebody got to you first.
You've been despoiled.
How terrible is that? Oh, you're marked up. You.
Yeah, you're not as attractive as you were a second ago.
Somebody should do like a supercut of like guys watching girls swim and or bathe in movies. It would be an hour long.
Oh, for sure.
Totally. Have you ever
The
seen
gauntlet
Zombie
has
Lake?
been
It's the first
thrown,
40 minutes.
internet. So
For sure.
please send us a supercut.
Send us a supercut.
Yeah, like
We need
it's
it.
weird. A lot of side, almost bum. A lot of
of
but
side
for
bum,
everybody. And
Yes.
I kind of like that egalitarianism. I'm sorry, I do.
Oh yeah, totally. Like there was never any like, you know,
It's not really along sexist
It's not like
boundaries
it's not
either.
like in Deathstalker where they're wearing full armor and then the chick that Phil Spector murdered has her tits out the whole time.
Yeah, no,
All right.
Yeah.
it's nice.
Also, Richard Brooker was in that movie.
Of course.
Yeah, I asked him about it. He just shook his head.
Just
He didn't say anything. I was like, "Hey, can we talk about Deathstalker?" And he just shook his head and walked
sometimes
away.
silence is more telling than
Yeah.
anything else.
Sometimes a paycheck's a paycheck. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I really love the tree. We talked about the trees, how goofy or how sparse they are, and the one scary
These giant
tree.
these giant big fruit things. I thought they were cocoons. These
They seem
glowing
like
green
cocoons because it looks sort of like, I know it's just flickering lights because budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it looked like stuff was moving in. But this is one of those scenes that fucking terrified me.
Oh,
yeah.
we're with,
With
the
the bat.
I call them bat people.
Yeah, they're
I-
called winged monsters in the
When
credits.
I made my notes, I called them swamp things with no swamp.
But of
Yeah.
all the definitely this is something to keep because it's. I watched it recently. Still scared the crap.
Still
out of me.
scary.
Yeah, it's-
Like the way it's shot, it's very ominous. The creatures are just far enough away that you can't see the limitations of the makeup.
Yeah.
But they're like a looming presence, and then they melt that guy. Like spoiler alert. But yeah, it's crazy.
You see that every
Every
episode. We
episode.
talk old movies. We talk
Yeah.
movies here, people. If you haven't watched the movies
Movie-
going
yes.
in and you
Mm-hmm.
feel like we spoiled something, it's your own damn fault because you didn't have to listen to the podcast
But
first.
these things are fast and they're strong and there's a lot of them. And then he's like surrounded by them.
Yeah, and then the eagle saves the day,
Yeah,
as
those
always.
flappy flaps on the arms, they'd fold over people and then
melt
just
them.
melt them super fast.
That terrified
Yeah.
the shit out of me as a kid. Like, and why they're
it's
making
terrifying.
cannibal soup
I used
doesn't
to have
make any
nightmares
sense.
about that.
Yeah,
if they
I don't
seemingly
know
absorb
either.
you through their skin or whatever.
Yeah, the big pot.
Maybe it's for the people who weren't strong enough to have the full meal. Maybe it's like, I don't know, it's like those meal replacements.
Yeah, it's
But
like
for the
it's like
bad
it's like a
people.
protein
Is this
shake.
the Jenny Craig for
Yeah,
Monster
this-
Jenny
people?
Craig.
This is the bat people like meal replacements, or if you're like sick and they'll just give you like some soup.
And they're all soundless, which is creepy. Like they don't
Yeah.
speak.
Well,
No.
why did they have a pot of people soup when they had no mouths?
They can suck. They've got straw things like mosquitoes.
And well, I get the feeling the mouths were in their chests.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, it's chest
But
food.
I feel it might be sort of along those lines where it's cocooned and then like they excrete crap to like
Digest
goo
them.
you, digest you,
Yeah.
and then
You know when Brundlefly barfs on that
Exactly.
guy's arm? Yeah, it's totally
Yeah.
that scene.
But
Ready for
yeah.
a demonstration, kids?
Yeah.
I know, but like how I don't know where how amazing. I can't think of anything else that scared me since I was a kid or scares me
Yeah,
now.
I still think of that scene as like the scariest scenes in movies is that one crazy tree scene.
Yeah.
That and the blue liquid has always stuck with me.
That was tree number 3.
Tree number 3.
Yeah,
Witch
tree
number
three.
1.
So yeah, so on this quest,
maybe some of the bad people were Jewish and they just like the chicken soupy thing, right? Maybe it's that.
oh,
So we like chicken soup.
I like chicken soup. Hey,
You
I
want some
like
chicken
chicken
soup?
soup.
I'm not feeling good.
Jewish.
Yeah.
I don't have a mouth. Why are you making me the chicken soup? Shut up and eat it. It's good for you.
Well, like I said, maybe it's for the people who are like trying to go a little leaner.
Maybe for
That's kosher to them.
the kids who can't use their flappy arms yet.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. It's baby
That's the
food for
baby
bad people.
food. I'm going to go with that because we have nothing else.
But it's super scary, and he gets to call back on them later, like the ghost army. in
well,
Lord of the
okay,
Rings.
they've got this eagle-like statue, and the eagle comes down and flies over top of Dar when he's surrounded, and they all kind of back off.
Sits on his
This
arm.
is their revered god.
Who's friends with this guy? So obviously,
Yeah. So, you're cool. We're not going to eat you.
Yeah, they give him an IOU for like, yeah, sorry for scaring the shit out of you and melting that guy.
Oh yeah, he does that flappy art thing at the end
Gives him
of
the
his
medallion.
sword, and
Yeah.
then the medallion slides in. That was so cool.
because he
That's a good
catches
scene.
it because they've got claws on the end too. Fun
Yeah.
fact. Ah, this is what makes them extra scary.
Yes, young parents, show your children.
Do it.
It's cool.
It'll be their first exposure to booby sexuality and slightly rapey stuff,
And it's also-
and really scary monsters.
But when I first saw this, like it seems like sort of outside of the film. It's like it's completely different
Like
from
a
like
different
the
movie.
rest of it.
yeah,
But it does come back and it makes sense.
Yeah, looking back, like out as you know, we were exiting the rental era, and you could like purchase movies. I always think back to that one scene. I'm like, oh, what was that movie that had that really scary scene with the bat people? Because like you're older, you want to watch it again, and it took me a while to remember that it was specifically Beastmaster.
Yeah, me too.
because
Yeah.
it's so outside of
Yeah.
the rest of the movie. Like, there's really a tone with this movie, and I wonder if it's John Coscarelli, because there's like a overall weirdness with the film that like
You-
Phantasm has too.
yeah,
and I
you
wonder
can
if it's
see
him.
those similarities. The ring with the eyeball in it that tracks them.
That's cool.
That
Yeah.
was kind of
That was
cool.
I
really
like
well
that
done.
too.
and
sequence.
very much looks like Don Coscarelli type effects.
Even the glaive thing.
I mean, too,
Yeah.
the other thing that could be done, I mean, they do a bit of it where they try and establish the bat people, but again, you can have like bits where like beyond this land or these people don't go there or something like that.
The Elephant Graveyard of Beastmaster.
Yeah, like you can establish something about these creatures.
Jackal. It's a jackal.
But with like just a bit of dialogue will
I still
this
think they're because they'd have rolling mist on completely sunny days on mountains and stuff. There should have been like this swampy area that this big tree was in. It felt like that's where it needed to be.
No, it was on
It's
top
just
of a hill.
on the hill by itself, the only tree there.
At dusk.
Yeah,
No big deal. It was sort of cool though, like coming up to it. Like for a movie where all of its like sweeping visuals are basically miniatures. They did okay. And
I thought that aerial of the town merging with Dar, looking over top, and you know it's a miniature of the town. It kind of
Yeah.
looks like one, but
it totally does.
It-
yeah.
it looks still pretty good, all things considered.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of visuals in this movie that quite frankly still hold up.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like the Bat People, I would like the CG it, and it would look stupid.
Well, I think the makeup could definitely be updated.
You could clean it up a bit, yeah.
You would clean it up, but it's still pretty good, really, considering.
Yeah, I wouldn't CG that.
Practical effects are great.
Or at least not entirely.
Because we made a vow not to recap movies, and we're totally doing that. Should we talk about how we would remake this movie? Or?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I think we've covered quite a bit, and
I had a couple points on like why I thought this movie didn't work, and some of it probably, like we were saying before the show here, that it kind of felt like this script was like an outline for a bigger script, and that maybe it was just time constraints or whatever Hollywood bullshit that they couldn't finish it. So I kind of, like, in my notes I put weak acting, but they really didn't have a whole lot to deliver because the script was so sparse.
yeah.
I also felt like there were some severe restrictions due to the budget of this movie. Like, there's not a whole lot of anything going on. The towns all have like 6 people. You're pretty sure they're the same people in both the town that got raised and the other town, and it really feels like a Roger Corman movie, like just a slap together quick
It
studio
does.
2-week shooting time.
Yeah.
And it isn't. And there's elements in it that puts it above those other movies. That's why I think that this is a standout in this genre, aside from, like, you know, big powerhouse pictures like the Conan movies.
Yeah.
That it really stands out. So when I think of remaking it, I'll take the lead on this because
Well,
I'm
hold-
talking.
before we get to that,
Okay.
we skipped over Seth.
Oh yeah, then they made
And-
Seth.
Oh, Seth. Yeah.
Seth and what was
Tao.
the kid's? I
Tao.
always forget the kid's name. Tao. So he runs across Seth, who was one of the former guards
For the
of
king.
King Zed before he was even born.
Mm-hmm.
He introduces himself as some wanderer,
Pilgrim.
He said he's a pilgrim for the
pilgrim,
cult.
and the boy was his companion,
His traveling companion.
which sounded like a
His
Subway
young-
commercial, if you know what
Comes
I'm
off
saying.
a little pedo.
Yeah.
His young, supple lad.
And then almost immediately they blow that, and
Yeah.
you know, he whips off his robe and
Please,
gets into a
Got
fight
his
with swords.
bondage
and-
gear. And
Yeah, he's got this big ass
no
staff.
pilgrim wields a staff like
like
you
that.
do.
Yeah, so I don't know why he bothered with the lie in the first place, but
I don't know. I think it was.
But
the
it does
point
come
of
off
that
very
scene was
pedo.
to probably try to establish maybe Seth trying to hide his identity and Darn knowing better, or maybe trying to size each other up. I think they were trying to achieve something with that scene, but they totally failed.
yeah, it didn't really work, and I think there's a scene missing there somewhere because
Yeah, there's definitely some dialogue.
he
that
does a
would have
lie,
made
and
sense.
then next scene it's just out the window anyway.
yeah.
We're pals. We're going to travel together.
Yeah. Okay, that was the only other thing about the movie I wanted to capture.
Yeah, or
so
doesn't say- if you
let's
did-
move on to remaking this.
There is a character that I want to touch on too.
Yeah?
Is the Seiko character, because I cast him in this movie because I think he could be a little bigger. And when they're doing the feed me your children nonsense in the temple, like after Dar's an adult, and they like sacrifice one, he's like, well, better do another one because he's like
still hungry.
He's kid hungry.
Seiko.
So they steal the little girl. And this is the one that doesn't fall directly down into the pit like everything.
It's sliding
she
into the
slants.
fire.
And he like sticks her in the
He's
face,
pushing
with the
her
pole.
with his
oh,
little
he's
staff
a
thing.
right dick.
He loves sacrificing children. It's
He
all he wants to
does.
do. But that the father,
Everybody needs a hobby.
yeah, the father is this character Seiko, and of
That's-
course,
okay.
like Dar sweeps in and saves the little girl, whatever, and shows up way later, and he's kind of like this like secondary comedy relief character.
Which I think could be beefed up. for
Could
sure.
totally be
Yeah.
beefed up.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to
I liked
mention him
him.
because I cast him because he like basically is instrumental in the climax of the movie.
Yeah, I didn't actually get into any fantasy casting with him, so
Yeah,
let's
I
hear.
couldn't think of what to do for him.
went
But
deep.
it is a rule. Well, sorry.
Oh, I like went really deep with this.
Okay, go.
Super deep. So I thought, as far as like the top end, I thought producer would be Peter Jackson. 'Cause he's got a lot of. Did we all pick Peter Jackson?
No.
Did anybody
No.
pick a producer?
Well, I mean, I'm on board with you because I was thinking Peter Jackson or Guillermo del Toro. You know, he keeps getting attached to do fantasy movies and never gets to actually do them. So
Hands them off to
So you can
somebody.
see Guillermo
So,
del Toro, but
I
I'm
think he
afraid
would do
with
it
Peter
great.
Jackson, this would be put out into 3 complete films.
That'll be
Well-
fine.
well, you know, if
Trilogy.
it throws money in there.
Yeah, well, and
Right.
and the reason I thought Peter Jackson was because for the effects side of things, and I don't know if we're all going to disagree on this, but I think the principal animal should be real. It
I
shouldn't
agree.
be CG or any dumb puppetry crap.
I think you can do
do a little
CG
bit.
assist, when you have an uncooperative bear or something, right?
Yeah. But
And they're getting so good with that now that you could get away with the whole thing, but I'd rather see real animals.
Oh, completely.
Because there's a certain...
for sure.
just the principles, I think.
I mean, if you want to get a little more cutesy and cartoony, I guess...
that wasn't my direction.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to
Oh
go
no!
that
If you
direction.
want, I think going practical makes it better, like in a lot of aspects of it, not just the animals.
So
it
my-
does go against the don't work with children and animals big time in this movie.
Yeah, well, the effects guy I wanted to use was Richard Taylor in the Weta workshop, which is why I attached Peter Jackson, and you have access to
Yeah,
him.
and I was thinking same with Guillermo because he's got all those impressive guys as well that do amazing makeup jobs on Hellboy and Pan's Labyrinth and whatnot. And boy, some of those designs, especially applied to those bat creature thingies,
Could be
holy
crazy.
Christ, that would be awesome.
Also, you could probably do like if you apply some of that stuff with the bat creatures, they won't just be that little thing that's sort of lingering in the background. Like they show them kind of standing, but there's also bits where they're like flying. Which
and you
probably
never
could show.
see that.
You
Yeah,
never
and
see it.
that's
You
where
kinda
you
see
would
people
start
looking at them.
using special effects and CG
They
and
probably
stuff
just
like that.
couldn't pull it off.
And hey,
But you could do it.
and some CG works really well with backgrounds. We can add trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do a
Make that
location
city look
shoot for
bigger.
lots of this, or you could do a completely fantasy landscape.
I would build the world more and make the world a character into itself because this
I
world
agree.
is a fucking plain of
It's basically
desert.
a soundstage for the movie.
It's
like
awful.
it's not
Well, it's
interesting.
like you're by farmland, then you're by desert, then you're at swamp, and then you're near trees. Because the part where like they try to attack Dar and his tiger.
I think you need that swampy forest area for those bat swamp thing creatures.
Yeah,
that
For
but
we
they're
haven't-
by trees. When they're
none of us have a
around.
name for this thing,
a
but
swamp area would be great for the stilt city. It would justify
Sure.
why it's on
For sure.
stilts.
yeah, stilts on the plane.
It would also you could also have the
Maybe
whole
it's
point where they know
floodland.
about the bat people. You
Oh,
could
there's
tie them
so
in.
much of that. So I was trying to think of a style for this movie.
Well,
'cause-
let's get to the casting before
Okay.
we get through to all of it because we all have our fantasy casting. I think we're all just.
We'll start-
I don't know.
We'll start
I'm
with Dar.
so unhappy with my Kiri.
start with Dar. Who can? Well, here because I just talked a whole bunch. Who?
You know, we did talk a little bit pre-show, and I think everybody had the same
We
Dar.
all
But
had the
so
same Dar.
because
So let's
of this,
get-
I want Tony's first.
Mine is tied up with my director and my whole vision for it.
Okay.
Is the thing. Brad Pitt, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Guy Ritchie.
We're all kind of,
Tarantino.
still.
Tarantino, and I'll tell you why. I don't want it updated. I don't want it to be cool. I want him to do an 80s style, cheap ass looking, in the same way that he reinvented the karate movie for Kill Bill by maintaining the style and ripping it off. I would like him to do the same for the Beastmaster, starring Brad Pitt.
Interesting. And that could definitely be an
He is
interesting movie.
He can be a physical badass. Like think of him in Snatch.
Yeah,
Troy.
and Troy, he
He's done it in
definitely got
Troy.
that look.
Yeah.
he can. But he's getting a bit old. I don't know if he could have that build again.
Yeah,
but,
like I'm looking more physically. imposing.
I think Brad
you
Pitt
could
and
do
Troy,
Tarantino.
he could totally
or
be that
DiCaprio,
character.
maybe he's probably
no,
a bit older too.
DiCaprio's
No.
not imposing enough.
Maybe
I'm
the young
trying
boy.
to think who's been in Tarantino films that you could use that would work.
Well, Uma Thurman would be in there for sure.
Samuel L. Jackson is.
Samuel L. Jackson. Oh, Samuel L. Jackson is
He'd be a
Seth.
cool Seth.
Yeah,
That would be
actually,
super
I
cool.
picked him as Seth, and then I changed my mind.
Me too.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
That's
well,
quite
let's.
cool.
Yeah, I didn't even think in that directions, but okay.
But-
I know
oh.
all three of us had the same Dar.
Did we?
Yes, we did.
Or I'm trying to like Tarantino-ish. Oh no, I lost it. Damn it! I had it in my head.
John
it would have been
Travolta.
great for Dar and Tarantino.
Okay, so I wanted all of us. Okay, you go. Oh, actually, let's go 1, 2, 3. Our Dar, because I know it's
Yeah.
the same. 1, 2, 3. Chris
Chris
Hemsworth.
No question.
We all came up.
I
with
mean,
it.
if you're going to find somebody to match that size of Marc Singer,
You know, to me, it wasn't even just size. The
It's
whole
his
point is you
ability
can
to do
find size.
comedy.
and
Yes,
he
that's
he
the
can
bit.
do
There's
the
comedic
comedy.
beats.
He can do that charming, smarmy thing that Marc Singer
And
does.
like it or not, it takes at least a little bit of acting ability to deliver some of these lines.
Yeah, and he's got the
with-
physical
with, like,
attributes
the
for
conviction
the role.
Yeah,
required.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
So, like, just to say some of these things with the right conviction.
And I know pretty much every female member of our audience is going, yeah.
Yeah, he would be great in that role. Like,
I think so, yeah.
I think he'd need because the accent he does for Thor is like his speaking voice. Like, he has kind of an English accent.
No, he's
Australian.
Australian. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I think that he needs a vocal coach or something to just get away from that, right? Because you don't want him to sound like Thor.
Honestly,
No,
if
because Thor, I'm sorry, Thor made me think Chris Hemsworth was a big idiot.
if I actually honestly if
he honestly
My
made me
wife
think
feels
the
the
actor
same
himself is stupid.
if I'd given it more thought, I probably would have made everybody British in this movie.
Just to unify it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would have been great.
Well, what about Mayax? Anybody have?
Okay, I think we all had interesting Mayaxes, and Rip Torn is such a strange person in that
Strange
role
choice.
to begin with. So you'd almost want to keep him in there for your Tarantino movie because he fits
yeah.
so
Yeah, I think
well.
for Tarantino,
For
he
your
would totally
Tarantino
work.
thing, I wouldn't even
Totally
recast.
would. Yeah.
I mean, that is just amazing. But let's start again with Tony for this one.
Yeah.
'Cause
I'm not sure that I have one top of mind. Apart from, I'm sorry, it's the name of the German actor who was the Nazi and
Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz.
Oh yeah, that'd be
He
interesting.
came by on my list a couple of times. I went around. I'm like, oh, maybe, maybe not. I didn't land on him, but he was one of the people in my list.
And I think that's how this is going to go. Everybody's got
I've got a couple.
very different options for this character because it's not so constrained by a physical body type. It's more the character and the acting in it. And
You just
definitely
gotta-
need some fleshing out for this character.
You've got to
but-
be crazy enough to get that devotion
Yeah.
from people.
And you got to convey that craziness.
Also, yeah, I went crazy. I went a little bit old school with some of these.
Okay.
Like, I had Billy Drago as my Max. It was weird. I don't know why.
I don't know who that is.
I don't- Neither do I.
Old like 90s. He's got a very distinctive voice. People online will look him up and be like, no, but I had him. But oddly, when we were talking about Laurie Singer, she was in a movie called Warlock with Julian Sands.
Oh, wow.
And so I was, for some reason,
I love that movie.
I went in my little looping around looking for what I was looking for. I ended up on Julian Sands.
We might
for some
even do
reason.
that one on the show someday.
Yeah.
I'm feeling you with Billy Drago. I just looked him up now, and yeah, he's in The Untouchables and Hills Have Eyes and Delta Force 2, and he's basically a villain.
Yeah, he's a villain
And
actor.
He has like a very villainous, and if he's aged, reasonably well, I think that it would
could
look
do
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Sorry, who did he play in The Untouchables?
I will look it back up for you.
And the thing about him too, like I was looking, what's weird enough is on my list for Zed and Max, I took from the villain list. Both of them are from villain listings.
Oh, funny. Okay, well, you're doing your research. I
Frank
had...
Nitti.
Oh, okay. So he is the guy. If I may just sort of divert the conversation for a moment.
Yeah, let's do it.
Something that always drove me nuts about The Untouchables is when he drives by and threatens Elliot Ness and doesn't give him a chance to answer. He says, "Nice house. I said nice house." He didn't even pause. And that became a huge inside joke for me and my friends for years. We go, "Nice house. I said nice house." Other than that, yes, I agree with you. He'd be great. Moving on.
Plus, I think he looked great in braids.
He might.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'm going to do
Your friend died screaming like a stuck
I think mine's the most out there.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'll
why
go
I want to
last.
end with you for
Jason's
that one.
Mayax?
So for my Mayax, and I based this off of Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes movie, Mark Strong, because he was already doing the cult leader kind of thing there, and I thought, yeah, I could definitely see him being a good Mayax, and he's got that deep, gruff voice.
Then
and-
give the little priest's hair and braids and just have Mayax bald.
yeah. Oh man, just the braids, right?
Just two braids, just bald the rest
Just
of the
right
time.
by his ears.
Jedi
He
braid.
looks so freaky.
Awesome.
So yeah, I had Mark Strong based on the fact that he'd already done a weird cult character already. So,
For sure.
But you had the most unique one.
Yeah, so this is the backstory and why I chose this, because I like we all agree that this movie needs more fleshing out.
For
so
sure.
I wanted a Mayax that was very like energetic and fanatical and kind of crazy looking, and would be like the kind of character that there's that turnaround at the end of the movie where Rip Torn attacks Dar, and like Rip Torn's a pretty big dude. Right? So, like, he overpowers him for a bit, and they have this struggle. And I wanted somebody that you just wouldn't think could do it. So I was thinking, who's played a very effective villain, who can hit the comedy notes, no question, with this movie, because it should be kind of everywhere, and who would just be way out of left field as far as overpowering Dar, I picked Paul Pee Wee Herman Rubens.
And I think that would fit.
Yeah.
I think that would fit really well into Tony's version.
Oh,
too.
in Tarantino-verse?
In Tarantino's, yeah.
I just think of
that would rock.
Just think what
sacrifice your child.
Just think what his death scene would be if he had done it Buffy style. Ooh.
Kicks the wall. That's the best part. She took my arm. Yeah, no, he's so
and
good.
instead of sneaking up behind Dar at the very end, being like, ooh.
Yeah, pulls the knife.
Oh my god.
Oh, wait, can I change my answer?
Sure.
I've thought about it. Walken.
Ooh.
He can be good. He's maybe a little too
I
old.
actually had
In a Tarantino universe?
I had entertained
Walken.
that thought when I was given this some thinking the last couple of days, and he was on my short list.
I thought about him too, but I just think he's too old.
I think he is now as well, but I also think back to when he played that villain in that Bond movie, and
I was thinking like Prophecy era would be perfect.
Yeah.
Like if you could get Walken from the Prophecy in that movie, it'd be great.
I hear you talk to animals. Good for you. However, too bad. I'd have kill your kid.
Just like Christopher Walken, like, your children. You're going to give me your children.
Yeah.
Sacrifice.
He's dead already. You just don't know.
You just don't know. It's
What's
like,
your
what?
problem?
He's not satisfied. I need another child.
It's God. What can I do? It's not my problem.
And this will go on for the next
It will.
half
Yeah. I was going to throw some in there, but I'm not.
No. Well, there's a reason why you never hear me do impressions. Okay, so now we're down to fantasy casting for Seth and Kiri. I know a lot of people had issues with Kiri, so let's just get her out of the way.
No one else had King Zed or the man who raised.
had
Well, I'm going to
King
leave that
Zed
to you
and
because
Seth.
I only did the 4 primaries.
Okay,
so
the primaries first.
Yeah.
I had King Zed and Seth as well.
Okay, cool.
So we're talking about Kiri. We're going to talk about
Let's
Seth.
do Kiri because honestly, I think this version of Kiri for our remakes should, because even though she's supposed to be sacrificed and a slave and all this stuff, she also claims that she's some warrior priestess as well.
Yeah, they do establish that, sort of.
Kind
Okay,
of.
you
It's a
see her
throwaway
a
line.
couple of times where she
Why is she
throws a
dressed like
little
that?
bit of effort
Yeah,
into
okay,
it. But
FYI, that's my one problem with
When
this.
she
Why
runs
is
off
she
for a
dressed like that?
costume change?
Yes, but
That's
look
the
at the
best.
costume. It's almost no change.
no,
Like, oh,
wearing-
look, she's in the same small amount
But
of
now
clothing as before.
She's wearing a girdle and has shoulder pads.
and
but
now
her
it has
shoulders
80
are
shoulder
covered.
pads.
It's totally different. It shows strength and power. Shoulder pads are powerful.
No,
Power. Ask She-Ra, yeah.
so yeah, I think
Up,
this
swift
role,
wind.
this character needs to be more of a badass.
Totally.
Definitely a stronger character, especially now we got so many female action characters,
Yeah.
and I think she should be a stronger character instead of the damsel in distress because her character demands her to be a little tougher, and we don't see enough of that. So I was thinking actresses that could still have that hotness that the character
Tanya Roberts definitely has, yeah.
We didn't actually cover the fact that Kiri is revealed to be his cousin.
Yes.
That is deeply disturbing.
And when
Because-
they learn that, they continue the love affair.
What
They
they
can-
find out is Tao is Dar's younger brother.
Yep. And Tao says that Kiri is his
cousin.
which makes
Makes
it Dar's
Dar's
cousin.
cousin, yes.
Kissing cousins. Beastmaster
Kissing
kissing cousins. That's what mine's going to be called.
And
Beastmaster.
even after,
It'd be a Jim Jarmusch movie.
he's asking, like Tao is asking him, "Will you help us?" And he's like, "Get your cousin to ask me." No, it's your cousin too. You should say, "Get my cousin to
Well,
ask
when he
me."
says the "get your cousin to ask me" scene, he doesn't find out until he's on top of the pyramid.
Yeah, he doesn't know that he's actually related.
Oh no, sorry, they find King useless with his eyes gouged out, and then he learns that.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, her warrior priestess outfit's still pretty hot.
So how much does this actually owe to Oedipus Rex? We got the king with the eyes gouged out. We got the prophecy of this guy's going to kill you when he grows up, so we'll get rid of him. But no, he's saved at the last minute. So we're reaching back into the Greeks
Are
here.
there
Probably a
three
lot,
witches Oedipus Rex? I was looking
Three
at
witches.
I don't know.
That's
they're
Macbeth.
and,
Macbeth.
and the Macbeth,
That's Macbeth.
witch where they stab out the eye ring,
Yeah.
and it punctures the eye
Yeah.
of the witch
Exactly.
later, yeah.
Yeah.
They're taking from a lot of stuff.
Ooh,
You know what,
we're
though?
going deep now, people.
Coscarelli says, too, according to IMDb trivia, that he was an avid reader of fantasy fiction. And I mean, fantasy fiction is all very
Oh,
derivative, right?
It
Oh, for sure.
shows in this movie. But.
Yeah.
So yeah, her character needs to be definitely much deeper. So I went with Alexa Davalos, and anybody who doesn't know, everybody's giving me blank stares in the room right now. She was Kira in Chronicles of Riddick.
Okay.
So, she's doing all this badass shit, and she's still kind of hot, so...
Don't even know who that is.
He hasn't seen Chronicles of Riddick either.
Okay, yeah, Chronicles of Riddick was the follow-up. She was the girl from the first one, but grown up.
Yeah.
All grown up with hair and stuff.
And for you Buffy Angel people, she was the hot chick tossing lightning around, so...
Oh, did not know that.
Well, there you go.
Crazy.
But, she's doing some pretty kick-ass shit in that movie, so I'm like, all right, she's got the looks, and
she
she's
was
still
in a remake.
Was she?
She was in the 2010 abortion Clash of the Titans.
Oh, yes, she was. We will be revisiting this actress.
Oh, you want to see somebody get really, really upset about movies getting remade shittily? That's the movie.
Oh,
that is one of
we
the
are
worst.
going.
We're going to
Agreed.
do that one.
I
our
don't.
next.
This
Let's do it
doesn't happen
next.
very often. I fell asleep during that movie.
I saw it in
twice.
theater, so I couldn't.
Oh, I just felt sad.
I still have yet to see the remake all the way through.
I just felt terribly sad.
So it is going to probably break my soul when we finally get to do that movie.
Yes, expect tears. Expect the
So,
no, what happened?
I can
So,
see
yeah.
it though. She is ass kicking and she's very pretty. So
yeah, so she's my choice for Kyrie, depending on the
Kiri.
trailer or the movie.
they say Kyrie in the trailer.
They do.
Yeah, they can't even get her name right in the trailer.
Yeah. So yeah, she's my pick. I think she'd be good, badass chick, and
First draft, her nickname was Titties. We gotta change that. Wait a minute.
We gotta change that.
She's got a nice
It's got
ass.
too many syllables and too many letters.
That's right.
Well, the girl I
about just
picked,
tit?
the girl I picked didn't have big '80s boobs. And originally, because we had talked before, I was thinking Eva Green from 302, the chick that gets hate fucked, right? Because she's powerful character and beautiful, but she's almost too physically powerful. So I changed my answer. I was like, I want an actress that has the same as Tanya Roberts, like with the crazy bright eyes and the contrast with the hair. Like, she's very beautiful, and right away you get taken with her. So
Eva Green is almost too femme fatale for the role.
almost too femme
I
fatale.
think she's also like too kind of emotionally powerful because Kira
Yeah,
is pretty
she's very-
emotionally weak for a bunch of it.
at least in the movies I've seen her in, Eva Green is very overpowering. So I wanted somebody that was a little dialed back, instantly beautiful, but can kick some major ass. And I went to a role that I love in a movie that was not really a remake, but a sequel in Tron Legacy, and I went with Olivia Wilde.
Oh, God bless you.
Because she is stunningly beautiful and can kick some serious ass.
I am on board.
Yeah, I thought she would make an excellent...
That is my adult crush
And I
at the
think
moment.
If necessary for like making some of the stuff where you can add more depth to her character, I think she could hit like some of the comedic notes as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. She's a great actress.
She is.
She's
Yeah.
got the chops to do that, which is I think would be great. It would be necessary.
Yeah, she can do tough, and she can still do some of the comedic notes. Absolutely. I think you might have something there.
I like that.
Yeah.
She could be my blood sister, and I would still kiss her. Like,
Well, at that point, yeah,
Yeah,
any kind of relation would go out the
This
window. on that
podcast,
one.
we're finding out lots
Lots
of
stuff.
Yeah, Jeff would kiss his sister and not waste a bullet on a baby. If you're keeping track, remake bingo.
Yeah.
Those are the two.
there'll be a quiz at the end of the
Those are two
season.
squares we've got covered right now.
Yes, we'll keep track of the do's and don'ts.
That I'll do and don't.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I don't think there's a lot of don'ts in your world, but
Oh hell no! I came up with this
Don't
one
fuck
just
with
now.
Eric Roberts'
Okay.
mom.
Because I hated my first choice. I hated. I
Ooh,
was,
I
going, I
wanna
was
hear your
scrolling
choice.
through
What's your
everything
first
else. I was watching Mad Max, and I'm like going, "Oh, I guess she has to stay vulnerable." And I forgot about the warrior part, and I'm like, "Crap, I shouldn't say that." It was like that Rosie Huntington Whiteley. I liked her in Mad Max. I thought she fulfills empty.
What's her name? The Saren, whatever. The main
She
girl,
was,
right?
Yeah. I don't remember her name. She was the blonde one who was pregnant.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
her.
okay, because I'm like, well, she's not
Too frail.
Furiosa.
Too frail. I know.
Yeah.
So I've changed it. And this just came to me as you were speaking.
Oh.
And when it comes to something, it's like not so much, she hasn't really done a kick-ass role as of yet. But it is coming. And it was like going, Margot Robbie. She's beautiful.
Blank stares.
She might be able to do it.
Everybody gets there, right?
She's gonna be.
She's the new Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
In Suicide Squad.
Well, yeah, she's getting her action role next year. So, and people are already cosplaying her. So popular
might
without
be.
ever having being seen in the full
But
role
like I
yet.
say, it's a tough one to get because you're
Yeah.
trying to tick a lot of boxes, and that's the whole thing. Like you're scrolling through actress after actress trying to embody all these things, and I'm trying to find roles that are similar with an actress already in them. And what's sad is I couldn't find one.
Yeah, when she got here early and she meditated in my DVD room.
I know, and I couldn't find anything. I still try, yeah, but
You don't have Tron Legacy? What the hell?
no.
Oh yes, I do.
So, okay,
That's in a different room.
so we
No,
both
it's
went
still
with
there.
Seth and Zed. We both cast them.
I cast them both. Oh,
Well, let's do.
Oh, wait,
let's
yeah,
do
Tony.
Kiri.
Yeah, let's do Kiri for you.
Karen Gillian.
I like it.
She crossed through my mind. I've just never seen her do action. Eek, that's me.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Can't take you anywhere.
Oh
she,
Yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy. She
the-
was the other daughter.
Nebula. She was Nebula.
Yeah.
Nebula.
Right. Okay, yeah.
She was the other one.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah,
Because the thing is, she's a redhead,
and
and
I'm a Doctor Who
she's
fan.
she's my. I think Amy Pond in the police outfit is my new Princess Leia in the metal bikini.
Nice.
I would,
for me,
I wouldn't have her put on the American accent like she did in Oculus, even though it sounded great.
Yeah.
I would leave her Scottish because she's just hotter that way.
I would tend to agree, and she can do the action.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
and that can
she
go
can.
into your whole like
Doctor Who, you got to run a lot.
But here's the thing:
Yeah.
you want to have everybody British, have them British, but keep her Scottish. Make it like a UK sounding movie. I
Yeah.
think that would be awesome.
Plus, as I say in my act, I would wreck her like the Edmund Fitzgerald.
And Deep Dark Secrets of Tony.
Okay, so on the Invasion of the Remake bingo, we've got what would you wreck her as? Edmund Fitzgerald has been
When,
ticked off.
when we're 10 or 20 episodes in, somebody's going to have to make it just a supercut of all that stuff.
For sure.
Oh my god!
I agree.
So now we've called out for 2 supercuts. Okay, so we did that. Seth, and we'll get to your guys' supporting cast members, and then we really got to flesh out this movie.
Yeah.
So for me, I had Seth as, because John Amos is still a fairly big guy. You know, he's got muscles, even though he's more stockier type of guy. And I was thinking, well, let's make another muscular guy who could go sword to sword and the whole bit in these big battles. So I was thinking Terry Crews, big dude.
I thought of him, but I didn't
Yeah.
remember his name, so I didn't pick him.
Casting directors take note. This
This is why you go, oh, a guy in that movie, go to IMDb, track it down like I did.
That's what I do. That's
But
how I know.
I actually remember what made me think of it was his viral musical video where he had these things attached to all of his muscles and he started playing musical instruments by flexing.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, Jesus, this dude's badass. And
Nice.
funny as hell.
Well, for Seth, I thought initially my thought going along the lines with the Tarantino thing was Sam Jackson, because you wanted somebody tough, but that also had that this is part of fleshing out the character. He seemed like kind of like a fatherly, wise character, so someone who could deliver lines like that with a powerful voice, because the guy in the original Beastmaster has quite a commanding voice, right? So I was thinking commanding voice, but then I kind of changed, and maybe this is really stupid, but when the fighting started, like Sam Jackson, maybe through the magic of CG, could pull off some of that stuff. And I'm not saying the costume needs to be the same bondage gear that this guy was wearing, but I kind of changed over to Dwayne Johnson, because he's a big dude, commanding voice, but I worry that he would just, if you'll excuse the pun, he'll rock the role too much.
Well,
This
I
is
figured
my
he'd
problem.
Steed Steel.
See, and I had the problem
Yeah.
with it. I was trying to find age appropriate
He was awful in
because I
Hercules.
wanted to have somebody who was old enough to be conceivably alive when Dar was born.
When Dar was born, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a bit of a limitation. I was
makeup
working
as
with.
well. Like
Makeup.
Terry Crews is slightly older than most of the other cast we've put in here.
but only
He's
slightly.
he's
not
yeah,
quite.
and that's just it. He's in his late 40s, I think, whereas the rest of our cast was like 30,
Yeah.
early 30s that we've been doing, or younger. So I'm like, okay, he's doable. So you could not have to do too much
Although,
make
to
him
be
at the beginning,
fair-
and then, or even lighting him, just make him look a little
Yeah.
younger at the beginning, and then make him.
Yeah, to be fair, what you can do is you don't even need maybe the connection with the king at the beginning. You
Yeah.
can just have him like he joined before the king
And
went
it's
insane.
it's not really necessary. You can have the connection
You
to
can
the
have him
king,
kinda younger.
but didn't even have to be there. Really?
Yeah, I liked it later on in the movie when it was like, hey, by the way, this thing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, as long as he's aware of what happened to the king's son.
All right, so you were going to do Sam Jackson, Trish?
I had Jimon Hounsou.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We talked before the show. That was an interesting
But I
choice.
flirted with Tony Todd as well.
Tony Todd. Perfect. Commanding voice, big dude.
Yeah.
Pull off the action.
Big, strong enough,
He would
old
love
enough.
that.
Yeah, I'm changing.
Old
Mine.
enough even to do it as
He's
well.
old enough?
Like,
Yeah. I'm changing the Tony
In the
Todd
upcoming
voice.
episode, I do have an interview with Tony, so
Nice.
look out for that.
That is a good choice.
Yeah.
I never even thought of him as an excellent choice.
That's a really cool idea, and again would fit into your Tony's.
yes, completely.
Absolutely.
Tarantino
It fits really
Beastmaster.
well
The
under.
the retro thing, yeah.
Yeah, because anybody saw him in Sushi Girl. Yeah, he can do Tarantino.
Oh, completely.
I cast King Zed, and this is actually somebody that was my choice for the evil priest at first, and I changed it because
but the thing is, they're so interchangeable, aren't they? You can totally do it.
a little bit. And initially I thought, oh, we'll do Chris Hemsworth with like some age makeup, but that's stupid. But because Chris Hemsworth has that accent, I thought somebody else with an accent, and I don't know, my King Zed is less of a pussy as the one in the 82
Oh,
version.
hell yeah.
Like, he needs to be a little more kingly, so I was thinking Liam Neeson. That he would be a good King Zed.
Yeah,
Like, he's old, he commands a lot of attention in a room, he's got a great voice, he has a hawk nose, so he could be interchangeable with the evil. But initially I was thinking him for the evil priest, only because it's a little outside of what he does. He doesn't
Right.
usually play
Yeah.
roles like that. Like, maybe Darkman was the last thing he did where he kind of skirted the line of playing, like, the tough good guy role.
right.
Yeah,
I don't know. He punches wolves now, doesn't he?
he does.
Does he even do? I don't
I'm going to
know.
punch that wolf right in the face.
To be fair, this is all
They're
dream
safe now.
casting. This
It's
is
all
what we'd
dreamcasting.
want.
Yeah. And did anybody else have a thought on King Zed? Or?
I did, but I was stuck between two ideas, but now kind of thinking about it more, my second choice is probably the one I want. Like the first one I flirted with, strangely enough, Willem Dafoe. I don't know why.
I love Willem Dafoe.
I think I like him.
dig
I
that.
like him in roles where he's like a good guy, but like he adds layers of stuff. But then I had another thought about it, and I'm like, oh no, I don't know why. Robert Carlyle. I thought he could do it. Robert Carlyle as the king. I don't know why. It seems to fit. Now that the more I think of it, the more I'm in love with that idea.
Honestly, anything I made would probably have a Robert Carlyle in it.
Like,
I'm feeling Willem Dafoe for Mayax right now. Like, he would just be
Yeah,
such a
I feel like
manic
we need
lunatic.
Well,
to-
that, you know how I said I took them from both lists?
Yeah.
I was scrolling past, and I'm like, Willem Dafoe, I'm like, Mayax. I'm like, no, I didn't want him as Mayax. I wanted to, like, go against that.
Yeah, sometimes you want to cast people against what they're normally cast at. And
Yeah.
maybe that's just like being a movie fan.
Zed and Mayax, I took both, all of these are from that same list of Hollywood villains.
Yeah, they were really... well, that's why I went with the one I picked, because it's so off the wall, and he's trying to revitalize his career.
I like going against type
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
You know, anybody who's a little skeptical about the upcoming Batman Superman movie and Lex Luthor casting.
I don't even know who they cast for that.
Jesse Eisenberg
yeah.
is Lex Luthor.
Yeah, which
Oh, super young.
exactly, and
But they're making him
it's
like a tech startup guy. I think.
yeah, it's very interesting
I
if
made
you
Facebook.
think.
Fuck you, Superman.
Well, yeah, you
I
Why
like...
and that's
Really good.
actually if you look at the Social Network and what kind of character he is, and like, well,
Oh, yeah,
that's
he's-
young Lex Luthor.
He's dickish Lex Luthor. He can do
Yeah,
it.
so I'm fascinated by going against type on stuff like this. Whether it's going to work when we finally get there, I have no idea. But it's interesting to go that direction.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
against type because I liked Man of Steel, so I think that...
I love
Batman-
Man of Steel.
I did like
Yeah,
Man of
it's my
Steel as well.
favorite Superman, and you guys can email me all your
I
arguments
liked it.
later,
Yeah,
and Jay
exactly.
can
Everybody
take it off
can
the air.
yell at me.
No,
Why
I'm
is
not.
it nobody
I'd
complains
never.
about all the collateral damage that the Avengers cause? And then Superman
Oh, yeah,
getting
and then
collateral
Superman's
damage.
all
it's like,
collateral damage.
That's because Tony Stark just writes a check.
I do like how when we saw that trailer for Batman Superman that they're using that as a story element now.
Yeah.
They're not. It's there for a reason, and if you're going to go that direction, and maybe that wasn't their intention, but it's a great tool to work with.
It's great, but they added to the story in Batman.
And it may make
But
me appreciate
in the
Man of Steel
Avengers,
more.
What they do is, oh hey, let's make our headquarters outside the city,
Yeah.
and they don't address it other than that.
I'll be on board a little bit. I liked Man of Steel when I first saw it,
it didn't stand up upon reflection.
There you go.
Oh,
Okay.
I still like it. And I heard some dumb rumor that Zod's coming back. And
Oh,
You know,
shoot me.
the internet rumor
No,
mill.
I hope not.
So there's
I didn't
a
want to see him
couple,
last time, but he was well cast.
There's a couple like side characters that I felt were important.
Oh, yeah.
That could be fleshed out again more.
Yeah.
So Seiko, the character Seiko, the like chubby, funny sort of comedy relief guy.
I think he could be beefed up for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if I'm going with like the chubby, funny comedy guy that, you know, can deliver a lot of great lines and stuff, I was thinking Patton Oswalt would be great for that little bit.
Oh, that is perfect.
Yeah. Even that guy was like, as soon as he started talking as a character
Yeah.
outside of the ritual thing, he just reminded me immediately of Patton Oswalt. And I thought that he would be great in that
when
role.
you think about it too, he's like a side character, but he's a significant character.
Absolutely.
He sneaks them into the city. He's the one who saves them when they have to jump off the place, magically, ironically, at the right place at the right time.
Also, like, where the hell was that cliff?
I
Because,
know.
like, there's a mountain behind. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter.
I think
But
there's a mountain behind it.
I'm going to put up if I feed him more beer and pretzels, Tony, in that part.
Thank you.
I think
All
you
right.
do all right there.
yeah,
I think Tony
I will-
could do it too.
I'll totally read for that.
nice. Yeah. I'll meet you on the north side.
Great.
That's his one line. But you can flesh him out.
No, he does have the whole bit where he's talking to the bird. No, not me.
Right, and wouldn't Patton
No
Oswalt be
way.
hilarious? as
Yeah,
that?
no.
And there is
I agree.
he gives a lot of backstory too to Dar when he returns the daughter. He's like, hey,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is the situation. And I mean, that could
Chaos
be
is
your
taken over.
Yeah, that could be your moment where you get all your backstory, and they maybe didn't have time or whatever. I also cast Tao because I thought he could be fleshed out a lot more. Like if he's traveling around with this warrior
Oh, for
dude,
sure.
he probably can kick some serious ass. So I was trying to think of like a young but like ass kicking kid. So I picked
And you need to see him training during the
Something,
movie. Just
like-
a little bit
Yeah.
to establish that he can take care of
more
himself.
than just taking an arrow, getting up and walking, and then being dead, and then getting up and walking again, or whatever the hell happened there. But
I love the comment at the end of the movie where he's got a strong right arm.
No,
Like,
no.
well,
No.
I hope that's his wanking hand.
No.
I know that was reference to
No, that's my whole problem with that line. He says he won't be able to use his left hand
He
for a
got shot on
while.
the
Yeah.
right side.
It's his right. Seth says he won't be able to use his left hand for a while.
yeah.
It's his
It's
right.
his right hand, yeah. He
That
got
just
shot on the right
bothers me.
side. You know what? In whatever weirdo Bronze Age that movie takes place in, they didn't understand human anatomy.
No.
So I
He got
cast
shot in the chest, for Christ's sake.
I cast Tao as Asa Butterfield, which is the kid from Ender's Game, the main kid.
And he was up for Spider-Man there
Yeah. Oh, wow.
a
Nice.
bit.
Yeah, and I thought I heard that casting, and I thought he was way too young for Spider-Man. But I think
he
in this
didn't get it,
role,
so.
he could be super young.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good actor. He can do the physical stuff. I thought that he would be a good. And just because I cast the leader, I cast Dar's father because I went deep with this movie, and
Yeah, you did.
I was thinking of Troy again, and I cast Val Kilmer. Do you remember him playing like the fatherly?
Oh, the terrible.
Only if you want him 1,000 pounds now.
Yeah, no, totally, right? He's like this aged, crazy warrior guy. I just thought he would be good in that. And then,
Wait, the farmer father?
yeah, Val Kilmer is the farmer father.
No.
I'm not feeling
No,
it.
I thought he'd be good.
He needs to have a more paternal presence, and I don't think that's what Val's given.
Val can deliver "You're my beloved" just as well as that other guy did. Because that was like his own.
You know,
line.
given some CGI early on when he's a bit younger as he grows up, I would maybe do, and I don't remember the actor's name, the guy who played Mike in Breaking Bad.
No,
don't know
too
who
old
Mike
right
is.
now.
Oh, he's definitely too old now, but if you aged him up after, you know.
Well, clearly the answer is who plays fatherly figures that dies? Sean Bean.
Oh my god!
Oh, why the hell didn't we
Thank
ever
God
think
you're
of-
here.
Sean B.
Thank you, Tony.
Fatherly figures that's his milieu.
Done.
Perfect.
Well, we got that.
If
And
you
then-
don't kill Sean Bean, you're not doing something right. It's not right.
And the last one,
Yeah, Jupiter ascending. Sean Bean
I'm
lives.
looking at you, Wachowskis,
That's what happens
well,
when you let him
both
live.
Silent Hill movies, he lives as well. Just throwing that out there.
and every one of those movies we just listed are terrible.
I like the Silent Hill movies.
I like the visuals of the Silent Hill
Oh,
movies.
yeah,
They
I
are
don't
not
like the
good
Silent Hill
movies.
No.
So when we're fleshing out the Jun army, there's like the obvious leader with the Batwing helmet. So
Maybe that helmet should come off. Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the helmet's cool. I thought it could come off and he could be revealed as somebody or whatever. It doesn't matter. But
It's not like any of them talk.
See,
when
I
they
don't think it's important.
when they
or
have
not.
their big showdown at the end, like over the after the
I love a fight in fire.
yeah
That's
after the
fun.
fire explodes.
That was actually really impressive because people were actually sword fighting with their capes on fire and
yeah, they were wearing like full. You could see the suits,
Yeah.
right, because of budgetary
Yeah.
restraints. But they were like on fire fighting.
They were.
It's a
But
battle in
I
fire.
cast that leader because I think that fight could be more important, like defeating them and having him be the guy that kills his father-in-law, whatever. But I cast him as Derek Mears, who is the Canadian dude that played Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Because you need a huge dude. Like I just right away, I'm
Oh.
like Road Warrior. I'm like, oh, humongous.
big
So
guy.
we need this guy.
Yeah.
And my director choice, I know we been focusing on Tarantino, but my look for this was I was really thinking of 300 quite a lot, so I thought that Zack Snyder would be a good
He
director
did
choice. for
cross
this
my
movie.
mind.
Yeah.
He did cross my mind.
I'm sticking with Guillermo on that one, but I might use his musician Tyler Bates
Yeah.
for soundtrack. So
Here's the thing about Tarantino, though. If what you want to do is flesh out these minor characters, he will not tell that in a linear way.
No.
You could be watching something, and then next thing you know, you got 15, 20 minutes explaining the beginning of this army and how it became and who these people are, and then it'll cut right back into the story. If you want to flesh these characters out, he'll do it for you. He may not do it in a straight
yeah,
line.
there'll be a lot of like tankards of beer bar scenes with him and them talking about I don't know slaughtering pigs and
And brutally inappropriate music. Now, I am not a Tarantino fan generally, so I'm not 100% behind
I mean,
that.
I admire the vision of that and how weird it would be.
But think about who rips off styles of movies better than Tarantino. If you want the flavor of an 80s movie, especially of a kind of a crappy 80s movie, then Tarantino's your guy, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's break down this plot here because we've been going 90 minutes already, and
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm sure
There's still
people's
some editing ahead of you.
yeah. So well, no, not a lot actually, but you know, our audience has been patient, and
Sure.
and hopefully they're on a long walk right now with their iPods and stuff. But let's kind of. I think we all agree every character needs expanding. They need a backstory, explanation. Everything's just so handed to you
Exactly.
so quickly, and most of it doesn't make much
No.
sense.
Here's what they need to do. They need to take the script, like from like step one, throw it out, and then actually just make it a Manimal movie, and then have it star Michael Fassbender. Done.
Terrible.
Manimal. You know, okay, to be fair, I
Horrible.
did like that TV show.
I don't think I ever saw an episode.
I think you need to
but
take...
it's not Beastmaster. He turns into animals.
That's right.
So it's not a
That was-
Beastmaster,
You know,
which is my
I
only
think
problem
the
with that
fundamental
that idea.
hero's journey works. I would really like to flesh out that world, make it a character in and of itself. You know, and maybe keep the stilt houses, like you said. And maybe they're
put them in
living
this-
in that swampy area. You can have alligators and all sorts of cool shit.
For sure. I think that
Snakes.
they should take
I think it should-
Coscarelli's script as I feel like it is like an
it's
outline.
a storyboard.
It's a storyboard.
Yeah.
Take that, get somebody, you know, who
More
wrote
vision.
Ant-Man? Edgar Wright?
Edgar Wright, he was
He wrote
writer,
most of it.
director,
Yeah.
and still had lead writing credit on the film. So
Yeah, well, because he can do the action and the tiny little bit of drama that's necessary and definitely hit the comedy notes. So take that script, have, you know, Coscarelli come in and work with him
Oh my
on
God,
that.
James
you know
Gunn,
what?
or
You know
James
what?
Gunn,
he'd be
yeah.
really good at this script too.
But I think there's one item I think that just needs to be turfed out, like a whole meal.
Oh, I feel like we're going to fight.
We're gonna fight.
Here it comes, folks.
Is
You've been
the
waiting for it.
idea of like the child sacrifice? When we can just
No, it's crucial.
No, when we could just reuse it and just have them, he takes their children and makes them part of his army or something. Because it doesn't make sense to kill the children of your followers because you have no more followers. I think they should just be ditched. There should be sacrifice, but it just shouldn't be what we think it is.
Well, I think if you have that motivation of the killing the children because you don't know which one is going to fulfill the prophecy, that'll drive it. And I think it actually should look a little more brutal, but I wouldn't show the kid dying per se, but they do a pretty good cut on that where they throw him in and it's like, holy shit, they just killed the kid. And that's a bit taboo even.
No, I just think the problem with figuring out what the horde comes from can be solved by taking the child sacrifice. and
I
making it
do like the idea of putting them into, you know, training them, getting them grown up and real buff, and then doing that berserker brain thing that they do. And yeah, that would feed your army, and the Jun Horde looked like a small biker gang, so you really need to feed that out.
Yeah, but the Berserkers
Make
weren't
it
part of
big.
the Jun Horde either.
No, they weren't. But I would
No,
make
they
them
were
part of
hallway
it.
guards.
I would make them
Really
I would make them the hounds of that, and they'd be the first opening charge.
They had that moment.
and they did try
They're
a little bit.
The guy's whipping them or something.
Yeah,
It's so
they
bad.
used one as a lead in the hunt through the temple or castle.
I think initially, like you have to do this setup with the sacrificing the kid because of the prophecy for Dar. But
Yeah,
I
but after that,
totally
you
agree. Like 25 years later, you should be looking at like sacrificing like the guys
Adults
in their 20s.
that are
Yeah.
now old.
Yeah. And I think they should have. I mean, those berserkers were really cool and kind of freaky. So
Oh yeah, those should be good. I like those ideas.
Use more of them for sure. Yeah. So yeah, I'd make their battles bigger. You know, if we're thinking Peter Jackson style, that's how big
Huge,
they should be. Huge, epic battles.
And also, like, still have your principal animals, but like we discussed, it's a sparse universe. Just have more
very
animals
important.
exist in general.
Yeah,
I'd
and
love
maybe
to see a scene where the
you
Jun
keep your
army
core.
is. I'd love to see a scene where the Jun army is coming, raiding that place,
Yeah.
and Dar like gets all wiggy and just like calls in like an army of eagles or crows or
Well,
something.
here's a question: if everybody's coming in on horseback, why doesn't he just tell the horses to stop?
That's what I think
was
should
wondering about
happen.
that too.
It seems like it takes quite a lot of focus. They sort of like in their own way established that
I
a little
think
bit.
he has to make that initial connection with the animal.
Right.
yeah.
So stare it down. Or
But
whatever.
then his kind of powers not as useful as it could be.
Yeah. Well,
He's definitely-
and
but
that's
he's not a Beastmaster.
and that's why you can't grab every freaking animal in the forest or wherever swamps would it. And I think you should go through a couple of different topographical areas because to make that journey look huge over a mountain or whatever, and still get your principal core animals, but he can't keep too many because he can only
yeah, you
focus
need
on
just
so
those
many.
principal cores.
Otherwise, that tiger's going to eat him.
And we absolutely cannot eliminate Kodo and Poto.
Oh no,
They're
you
crucial.
have to.
Crucial.
Because he needs his thieves to do a lot of his work, really.
But you could have other small moments where maybe he nudges an animal that happens to be there if he doesn't have his own. Like, oh, there's a snake over there. Let's see if we can do that. And I would totally eliminate.
Or
that.
there's like a dog or a wolf or something
Yeah.
like that.
Let's get rid of the
running
pot
after him.
of heads and feet and stuff that the
Yeah.
swamp things use because it's pointless.
The nonsense pot.
It's not, yeah. But I love that tree. So that you put that in the middle of your swamp, it's going to really stand out.
But the bat people I like.
You know the tree
Yeah.
of bodies in
We gotta use those.
300?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what they? Yeah,
Like a
maybe
scene like
you.
that?
Yeah, maybe you have the bodies hanging from other trees rather than the pot. Make it that look that much freakier. Because they're just saving them for dinner later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe like they do suck out the things and then they're left with nothing but bones. Have bone decorations.
They are like that, but they should be littered all over the ground.
I
Like,
agree.
They're
That's
very,
what I was
very
thinking.
good housekeepers for horrifying,
Yeah.
flesh-sucking monsters.
Yeah, they put it all in the pot, and I'm like, no, they should be crunching on bones, and that's what sets up that tone when you're moving into that scene. That sense of dread for sure.
Or he thinks it's leaves from the trees.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not.
It's eyeballs.
Crunch, crunch, crunch. Oh yeah. So yeah, and definitely some big fight scenes.
Big fights, yeah.
Man, King Zed bothers me a bit too, but
He could be a little more like they should have him like restrained and like show the scene where they gouge out his eyes to try to like weaken him, and
yeah.
he just doesn't.
Well, that
sit
whole
there and take
his
it.
whole story feels like that the King in Lord of the Rings, right? Who's
like Denethor
being controlled and
or
I'm not.
Oh yeah, what was it? Worm tongue or something like that.
Yeah, well, and yeah, Grima.
Theoden.
And that whole relationship feels like that to me. And
yeah, they could go that
But
route.
what
Yeah.
drives me nuts about it is like he's
Let's just
let
make
this
Lord of the
guy
Rings.
have so
Fuck
much
this.
control.
Oh,
who
there's so
legit-
much of that is Lord of the Rings.
Legit, he knows murdered his son.
Yeah.
Like really, I'm sorry. I have a very hard time believing that he'd let something
No,
like that.
that
have
should be
power.
in secret. As much as I admire him, bald face, just telling him I'm going to murder your son. Maybe that should be happening behind the scenes and cater towards more of the conspiracy aspects that creep into a lot of our films now and our reality, unfortunately.
Or make it
Because he's the power behind the king, and he's manipulating all these people.
make the bat people like exiles. Make them the scapegoats. Have Mayax tell the king it was the bat people that took his son.
What if those were mutates from those very powerful weirs the butterface witches.
No.
What if there's some sort of mystical tie there?
They say that
motivation.
They say in the movie. They say it in the movie that the priest made them. He's bred them or something. They do state that he makes those witches.
Okay, so there we go. And
so yeah, maybe he could fuck up.
Maybe there is a mutation that causes this new race of crazy bat people, and they have more motivation to join the attack at the end than they do right now with their little callback medallion thing.
But like I say, make them be
weird.
like the exile ones who got wrongly blamed for killing the king's son, and then they're mad as hell. And that's why they know. That's why they give Dar the thing. Because they know it's Dar.
Yeah, and all those bones, they're like June Horde bones.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Okay. We got motivation for these
We solved the
creatures.
problem.
Thank you.
I feel happy.
I'm all over this now. All right. That kind of, I think, works. I don't know if Jeff's on board, but...
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the idea.
Yeah, just to give them more motivation, and everybody needs a little bit more motivation in this movie. Kiri, we need to really get her...
She's the only one besides Jar that has any kind of motivation to do anything.
Yeah,
for sure.
She just
doesn't do anything.
We needed to define this warrior priestesshood that she's part of.
Yeah, they don't
She's
really
the
tell
only
anything
one.
about
They
that.
just tell you that she is, and that's it.
And then they give her a slight change of wardrobe.
So she needs to be a little more ass-kicky. And I honestly, we need to see that threatening of her family moment to drive her motivation more of being the supplicant. I think there should be at least a small battle of some sort where she's trying to keep her family safe and fails.
Hey.
And she should have a cool, unique weapon, too. Like, if everybody else is using swords and shields, she should be the one with the
yeah, because Dar had a cool staff and the glaive. And,
exactly.
Or cool sword, and then Seth had the big staff. And yeah, she should have something fun, too.
She should definitely have something
she had those throwing hair things.
She had throwing stars, but that's not really... That doesn't really come into play.
No, it's too feminine.
It should be bigger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she might as well pull.
And there should be maybe somebody else who is part of her order.
Well, let's face it. Where else was she going to hide it?
Yeah,
she was
It's
barely
going to get
wearing
painful
anything.
wherever else she hides it.
I want her to be like Michael Madsen in.
She's got very sharp butt plug.
Blood Rain.
I'm surprised that okay, you see her boobs in the film, but if she's hiding those things, they should be more cut up than that. It's not right.
Yeah.
They were pristine. I know, because I looked.
And then you rewound, and then you looked again, and then you thought, hey, maybe I should zoom in.
It's like my VHS copy of Fast Times at Ridgemont High when I was a kid. Just rewound.
The pool scenes just fuzz at this point. That's how you knew tits were coming. That's a whole different podcast.
You know what?
Tits are coming. The podcast.
Here's the thing. I do say, I do felt that they were superfluous at the point where she's swimming, but quite frankly, I think just random tits in a movie like this.
Okay, well,
I think that's fine.
I totally agree with you. It's fine. We can push this to an R rating for sure. Just add some more blood and make it a little more realistic. It doesn't have to be intense or anything, but
no.
We can see you can do that in Lord of the Rings and stuff without taking an R rating. So,
or
that level,
take all the blood away and make a Lion King style Broadway musical out of it. Think about
I
that.
like that.
Okay, anything else somebody wants to add? I think.
Jock with
Well,
the
crap, if you're doing
animals.
modern lady, I was thinking like Cat Lady Beastmaster, where she goes up against evangelicals.
Okay, anybody else? What any new scenes you guys want to add to this movie, or you think I think the structure of the original movie is fine. You just need much bigger scenes for these people.
Yep.
And a scene maybe where they establish that Kiri is a little more farther related to Dar than just his cousin.
Or at all.
I would maybe just wipe that entire friend of the family.
Yeah. He just falls in love with her, and that's fine. It's okay to do that.
There is no reason for her to be a cousin.
Yeah, a little less
all.
rapey meet cute. I'm down with that.
Yeah, and then you can
More
keep them
rapey.
together.
Yeah, I think we need a Robin Hood Little John meet cute.
Oh my God, yes.
Total-
That established her as a warrior princess.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
There we go. Fleshing and making changes, guys. Loving it.
Nice.
Lots more flesh in that movie.
See, that's the weird thing. I have no problem with the flesh.
More
I think
butts.
it's like the fact with violence without flesh.
Olivia Wilde.
It's somehow less offensive.
Okay, well, I don't know if we got too much more to add to this film. I think we've got a neat structure, and those bat people, I think we really solved a crucial problem there. So, I would definitely change maybe the look of the June Horde instead of these fetish road warrior people. That makes no sense in that time period. But maybe certain elements, the spikiness, and just more practical but scary warrior outfits. And I don't know. I don't know if they could still grunt and stuff, but that's what you have the berserkers for. They're just there to battle stuff anyway, so you don't have to have too much. But I think maybe some field commands and stuff, maybe some structure to it would be all right instead of everybody staring at each other and grunting, right? So yeah, I think that's our Beastmaster movie, and we've just kind of improved on something we already liked. And at some point we're going to remake a movie entirely from the ground up, and stop doing movies.
And I have a feeling I know which one.
Yeah, you got a good one in mind. So yeah, if anybody else has got things that they want to add, do it on our Facebook, our Twitter, or just email us at Gmail. It's invasionoftheremake@gmail.com, at Invasion Remake on Twitter, and of course, Jeff, Invasion of the Remake, right? On Facebook. So go put your ideas forward there, and we'd love to hear them, and maybe we'll read some on the air. So with that in mind, I think we've covered that. We need more ferrets.
No.
Two is quite.
Two ferrets.
Yeah.
Two ferrets is crucial for this
That
movie.
we can feel a sense of loss when Kodo bites it.
Oh my god, I cried. Kodo cried.
Yeah, that kid got sacrificed. No one fucking cares.
I don't care about the child. I do care about it.
Well, still sacrificing children. This was Jeff McNair.
And this was Trish Coughlin.
Tony Benz.
And I'm Jason Bishop. Thanks for coming, and we are out of here.
Kodo! No, Kodo!
Tarantino.